Tornado warned storms farther to the north. There's been several tornado warnings up near Bloomington and Indianapolis, and now we're starting to see some explosive severe thunderstorm development off to the south, the southern end of this line. So this is heading into the Mitchell Tree area at about 4:37. So that is about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Again, moving into Lawrence County, Indiana, into the Bedford, Indiana area at about 5 p.m. Buda at 5:08, into the Medora area at about 5:30, Brownstown at 5:40, and then heads up. If the storm stays just as strong as it looks right now, it'll be heading into the Seymour area at about 5:55 and Scottsburg at 6:10. So that's that storm right there. Looks like there is kind of a hook here, Alden, on the back end of that storm. Again, this is pretty far from the Indianapolis radar. It's pretty far from the Louisville radar. So we're kind of scanning up the sky here, probably at around 4,000 or 5,000 feet, but the potential of a rotation here. This is radar indicated rotation. We do not have a confirmed report of a tornado on the ground. And again, this is off to the west of Bedford. Let's go just a little bit south, Alden, and then it looks like we have some rotation in this thunderstorm near Lagodi, Indiana. So if you're familiar with this area around Orange and Lawrence counties, that storm just out to the west of your area. So heads up Paoli, Orangeville, French Lick. Strong to severe thunderstorm heading your direction. There is some of that rotation right now. Looks fairly broad, but again, we're kind of scanning a little higher up into this thunderstorm. And as we put a track on this storm, also moving at about 35 miles per hour to the east. Again, this is looking pretty bad here. There's the hail core right there out ahead of the rotation. Here's Highway 150 that heads towards Paoli. So this, let's move that a little bit more to the east. I don't think they're heading due southeast here, Alden. More of an easterly direction, I think, is a good spot to put that. So moving east at around 35, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, large hail, damaging wind gusts possible, and we can't rule out the threat of a tornado as well. We need to watch all of these very, very closely because we can possibly get some spin-up tornadoes very rapidly. So it looks like the National Weather Service has expanded just now that severe thunderstorm warning to include the northwestern quarter of Orange County. So that also includes Paoli. This is heading into the Halbert area at about 4:36. Can we go ahead and put that back up here, Alden, so we can check that out? Heading towards French Lick here very soon. Looks like you'll be hit with some very heavy rainfall in the next 5 or 10 minutes. And then this is going to be heading towards the Orangeville area at about 4:57 as we approach 5 p.m. into Paoli at about 5:07, Chambersburg at 5:15, Saltillo at 5:22, Hardsburg at almost 5:30, and into Fredericksburg, Indiana at 5:36. So again, we are live here with you tracking the threat of severe weather here during our late Sunday afternoon. We have all the ingredients for a severe weather event. Unfortunately, our area is under what's called an enhanced risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center. That's level 3 out of 5. We talk about those severe weather risks from time to time. So serious situation that we need to keep an eye on. Have that family plan ready to go to seek shelter immediately if a warning is issued for your area. Again, currently almost the entire viewing area under that tornado watch until 11 p.m. For now, it does not include Adair County. Let's load up Futurecast, Alden, and see how this is going to progress and evolve as we head through the rest of this afternoon into the evening time. Again, over the next 1 or 2 hours, I think the focus is going to be on southern Indiana. Here you can see the explosive development. I'm going to say that a lot. These storms really firing up. That was over 1 or 2 hours. Just going to back that up one more time, Alden, take it a little slower. This is around 5 p.m. and heading towards 6 o'clock, getting closer to Metro Louisville. So this is kind of one cluster. Some of the other weather model data has showed some activity also off to the southwest. So weather model data not perfect. It's guidance for us, and give or take maybe an hour on some of the data that you see right here. So this is 8 p.m. heading towards Bardstown, Elizabethtown, Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkway. Obviously, once it moves through, then we're going to be in the all clear for the rest of tonight as far as severe weather. So once the storms roll through, that'll be it for the severe weather event for tonight. This is around 10, 11 o'clock. It looks like by that time, during the end of the tornado watch time frame, is when the severe weather threat will start to come to an end across the area. Again, so could be a prolonged event here for this evening. The entire storm team is going to be watching it very closely for you as we look up towards the northwest. Again, this is the main thing that we are watching right now, and that's that tornado warned storm. This is radar indicated at this time, but kind of looks like we got a little rotation there, that hook echo on the western side of this supercell. And then right ahead of where a possible tornado could touch down, you also have these hail cores that could be putting down some golf ball size hail. So not only these storms packing a punch as far as damaging straight line winds, isolated tornadoes, that size of hail can do damage when it gets up to quarter golf ball size hail. Trying to give you a heads up, maybe time to get that car into the garage, get yourself inside and seeking shelter in that safe place as well. If you live in a mobile home, you want to get to a safer place. If you have time to do so, you can gather pillows, blankets, get in the most interior portion of your house, away from the doors and the windows. As many walls as you can get between you and the outside is the goal here. And then if you have a basement, get down below ground into your basement, into that safe place, and just wait it out. A lot of times these storms do not last that long. They are in and out, moving at around 30 to 40 miles per hour. So don't panic, just get to your safe place. And that is the main goal here for you. And while we're here, giving you this heads up. So this is the thunderstorm that's possibly producing a tornado. It is, again, radar indicated. This tornado warning goes until 5 p.m. Another track on that here from Alden. Thank you, Alden, for putting that on here at 4:30 p.m. So this tornado warning goes on for another half hour. So into the Fayetteville area at about 4:50, into Bedford at about 5 o'clock, into Buda at 5:11, Bono at 5:20, Medora 5:30. Brownstown at about 5:45 heading your direction. Again, this storm is really just kind of cruising right down Highway 50 into the Canton area at 5:50, South Boston at 5:57. So this is the storm that possibly is producing a tornado. As we expand out a little bit here, Alden, and I want to take a view just off to the north where there are some really potent, powerful thunderstorms near the Bloomington area. And then that is a confirmed tornado on the ground near Franklin. That's just south of the Indianapolis metropolitan area up I-65. So when we get that purple color right there with the polygon, that warning, that indicates that a tornado has been reported on the ground. So that is up towards Indianapolis, and then this line, it continues to develop off to the southwest. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for the northeastern corner now of Lawrence County, with this storm heading towards the Guthrie area. Large hail core right there. How is the hail and lightning products looking here for us, Alden? It looks like there's the potential of any of these supercells to produce some large and damaging hail, frequent lightning as well.
Looking at the Weather Service chat out of Indianapolis, Ben, they're reporting around hail in the size of 1.25 inches to about 1.5 inches. So that's around a ping pong ball size in diameter. And we don't typically, I mean, that's usually about the maximum hail size we get around here, but we are in an environment where we could potentially see hail much, much larger than that. And I've been thinking, just looking at this is kind of a radar image that you would see in the plains in Texas or Kansas or Oklahoma, rather than here in the Ohio Valley in Indiana right now. But no confirmed tornadoes with the cells that are in our jurisdiction at the moment. And I'll put on the hail tracker here really quick as well, so we can get an idea of how large some of that hail could be. Looks like we're working on that hail data at the moment, but ping pong ball sized hail at least, with some of these cells right there approaching Bedford and Guthrie on the way down to Brownstown.
Yeah, so busy obviously here on the radar as we're just past 4:30 p.m. on this Sunday. So this is Highway 50 right here. Here's downtown Bedford, and that storm is on the way. It's just out to the west. First, you're going to get the heavy rain, the lightning, the thunder. Next up, it looks like you have the potential of getting that large hail that Alden just mentioned. And the reason these storms are going to be so powerful and just exploding into the atmosphere is because of the amount of energy that's out there. You know, it's a hot, muggy day. That is the unstable air that these storms, if they do fire up, if they do start to grow, that is the fuel that they have to get really big and strong. And then add to that, we don't typically have a lot of wind energy throughout the depth of the atmosphere this time of the year, but we have that ingredient as well. So it's kind of a bad combination here as far as the severe weather threat. It's not what we want to see, unfortunately, but just be on guard here over the next several hours. Through the duration of this tornado watch that we have in place through this evening, and have that safety plan ready to go for you and your family to get to your place of shelter very rapidly. So be in that place of shelter here if you are in west central Lawrence County, that tornado warning is just off to the west of your area. There you can see some of that rotation. This is what we're looking at right here. Right on the back side there is some curvature, some rotation with the radar signature right there. Also to the west of French Lick. Yeah, Alden?
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. I'm getting more concerned about that storm to the west of French Lick because that circulation has really tightened up here within the last few scans. So I would not be surprised if they issue a warning for that soon. And we'll go ahead and
so it looks like that is a tornado warning right there for Lagodi and out to the west of French Lick.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some good rotation right there. It looks like some strong winds coming down just north of the Rutherfordville area. So this is just to the west of you guys in Paoli and in Orange County. So we've got two threatening supercells possibly capable of producing a tornado. And eventually we may want to take a look at the CC, the correlation coefficient product, and see if we see possibly any debris. This one really tightening up that rotation. So this is Lost River, if you're familiar with that area. Natchez, there's Highway 150. So here's Paoli, and so just out to the west of you guys, that's possibly a signature, that blue color right there, of some debris, some leaves flying around. So possibly a debris signature here just to the west of Lost River.
They just confirmed a tornado with that one that's been observed.
Okay, observed tornado here just to the west of Orange County. So this is just west of our viewing area. So if you have some friends and family just to the west of French Lick, need to be seeking shelter now. That includes the Lost River area between there and the Halbert area. So again, this is a threatening storm because we do now have a report of a tornado on the ground with this tornado warned storm. And we saw that tightening up and we needed to get focused on this. So that's possibly where the tornado is right now, just south of 550 and just to the west of Lost River.
More reports are coming in now, Ben. This is just outside of our viewing area, but we're paying attention to it because it's going to be moving into ours soon. Out of the National Weather Service in Indianapolis, law enforcement reports a confirmed tornado with debris visible rotating on the ground in Martin County, which is just to the west of Orange County and French Lick. So this is now a confirmed damage-causing tornado that is making its way toward French Lick. So you need to go ahead and take those tornado safety precautions. And Ben, I'll get another track up on here in just a moment.
Be seeking shelter now if you are near French Lick, the northwestern quarter of Orange County, Indiana. So here is Paoli. You guys have a little bit of time to get to your place of shelter as well. This is heading off to the east-southeast at about 35 miles per hour. We've got two tornado warnings out until 5 p.m. Be in your place of shelter here. Lost River, 445 heading your direction, into Roland area at 450, French Lick at 4:55 to 5 p.m. And then we have confirmed tornado on the ground with this one as well, here just to the west of Bedford, it looks like, Alden.
Yeah, we got
They're both capable of producing tornadoes.
Correct.
Let's just say that.
Yeah,
but this one has a confirmed tornado polygon on it just to the west of Bedford. So please take this seriously. Get to your place of shelter. This is where possibly some debris is happening near the Mitchell Tree area too. So I mean the debris signature, Alden, looked a little bit better with that other thunderstorm, but also a threatening storm right here to the west of Bedford. There's the circulation, the red's coming towards the radar. Green are the raindrops going away from the radar. Red and green next to each other, not a good thing. That's when it indicates the potential of a tornado. We've also had some sightings that a tornado is on the ground too. When we start to get those blue colors, that indicates winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. So some very strong winds, damaging wind gusts, tornado possible as well. This is tracking east at about 35 miles per hour. Mitchell Tree, I hope all the folks here are in shelter right now. Lowest level of your home, away from the doors and the windows. You try to block the debris by getting away from the windows. As many walls as you can get between you and the outside is the safest place to be. Maybe if you have time. Bedford, still, you're getting the heavy rainfall. You're probably hearing the lightning and thunder. We've got some high concentrations of lightning as well. You've got a little time before that is going to be heading your direction, that tornado on the ground just off to the west of Mitchell Tree. Let's take a look at the concentration of lightning strikes with this as well. Alden, looks like we've got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning out for part of our area. A lot of times when we have the rotation, the hail, we have a tremendous amount of cloud to ground lightning to go along with that. So numerous, basically all the severe weather threats are on the table here. Very heavy rainfall, blinding rain. You don't want to be out in this period. And then you have the potential of rotating thunderstorms, possible tornado on the ground as well. As Alden mentioned, we've got a report of a tornado on the ground. So confirmed, not just radar indicated that we often say, confirmed tornado on the ground to the west of Bedford, Indiana. So here's 158. And there is the center of circulation off to the west-northwest of the Mitchell Tree area. Large hail core as well. Can we try to populate that hail product once again? We'll see if the data starts to load up. So there's a look at the hail core. And when you get hail this large in size, they kind of go hand in hand here, the tornado threat and the hail. To keep something that large elevated means you have winds probably in excess of 100 miles per hour going straight up to hold up that hail, and then the hail cores can drop down, cause damage to the roof of your home and to cars as well. So you want to have, you've got some time to get your car inside if you are here around Bedford and central Lawrence County. Here's Highway 50, 158 heads out towards this storm. So I'm thinking, Alden, we're looking at over inch size hail. So we're talking golf ball, tennis ball size hail is going to be the potential out of these supercells that are tracking down Highway 50, down 150 here just off to the west of French Lick. So interesting, we don't see it very often here, Alden. So when we get that purple lining right there, so that's indicating possibly 2 confirmed tornadoes on the ground. Is that correct?
The one storm near Mitchell Tree does have that confirmed tornado. The southern one, though, doesn't have anything confirmed, but it's quickly moving into French Lick, and where you have those deep purple colors there south of Halbert, that's likely indicating where you have some of that very large hail. So not going to be surprised if that tornado warning gets extended into Orange County to include French Lick, Paoli, possibly Orangeville as well. And it's already in western parts of Lawrence County, and that strong hail core is likely going to be headed into the Bedford area as well. So you're probably going to get some pretty large hail there soon.
Yeah, so again, the kind of the sequence of events here, if you get one of these warnings today, it's going to be the heavy rain that comes down, the lightning, the thunder, really heavy torrential rainfall. Then the hail core will be possibly getting your area. If you start to see the hail, that's an indication that the tornado could be right behind it. So confirmed tornado on the ground here just to the west of Bedford. That has that tornado warning until 5 p.m. So another 19 minutes on that. And then a tornado warned storm just off to the west of Paoli, Indiana, here in Orange County near the Orangeville area. French Lick, your time is running out here. We want you to be seeking shelter because that storm is just off to the west of you. There's that center of circulation.
And that new tornado warning that just came out too. Let me get info on that.
So French Lick, you're right in the middle of this tornado warning. Please be seeking shelter in your safe place right now. Yeah,
that tornado warning is until 5:15 Eastern time. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 7 miles to the southwest at Shoals and moving east at 40 miles per hour. I will get a track on that for us.
So it looks like that's the potential tornado right here. So that is directly west of French Lick. So we're only talking about 10 miles to the west of French Lick, Indiana. Be seeking shelter. So this is the Springs Valley High School area and just out to the west and northwest of Paoli, Indiana too. So this is going to be heading towards the Rusk area at about 4:42. That's basically right now. French Lick at about 4:50 into the Springs Valley Schools location at 4:54. So approaching 5 p.m., just after 5 p.m. into the Paoli area and surrounding communities into Chambersburg at 5:12, Rigo at 5:18, Hardensburg on this track at 5:22, into the Rosebud area at 5:26. Let's back up and get our bearings here just so if you're just tuning in, you know what's happening and where this is actually at. This is an event happening right now, severe weather threat in southern Indiana right now. This is about 50 miles to the northwest of Louisville. These storms right here with tornado warnings are tracking off to the east and southeast. Some of the latest weather model data and the track that we're putting on it had it moving to the east towards Interstate 65 at about 5 to 5:30. So if these do hold together, you've got a little bit of time to just get the family prepared if you live around Interstate 65 around Scottsburg. Right now, the immediate threat is in Orange and in Lawrence counties in Indiana. So here's a look at French Lick. This is looking for the debris, our debris tracker, and it looks like the potential rotation south of Lost River, and then the confirmed tornado a little bit farther to the north, out to the west of Mitchell. So with this rotation right there near the Mitchell Tree area, how does the debris tracker look on that one, Alden? So hopefully if there is a tornado, it's a quick spin up. We don't want anything to be a long track, really large tornado, but we've got the energy that we need to be watching this very closely out there for today. It looks like another tornado warning has just been issued. So it looks like around the Mitchell Tree area is where the potential of a tornado exists right now. Here's a look at the tornado warning in west central Lawrence County, just to the west of the Bedford area. This is tracking east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. And then a new tornado warning that includes the western half of Jackson County for this supercell. So these things are just lining up and really firing up with a lot of strength here, very robust, strong thunderstorms tracking to the east towards Interstate 65, I would say in the next half hour. So that's about the time frame for you around Seymour, Scottsburg, Salem, Indiana. Hopefully you get kind of gapped between these storms, but that threat's going to be very close to you in Washington County here in the next half hour, 45 minutes as well. So this is the latest thunderstorm supercell with rotation. It looks like this one's radar indicated right now, as it is tracking off to the east and southeast. Once these start rotating, they can kind of curve to the right a little bit, and that's why you see a little bit of a southeastern component to these tornado warnings. So here's a look at the overall threat, a triple threat here. With 3 different supercells with 3 tornado warnings. So heading towards the Marengo area at about 5 p.m. into Seymour at about 5:15, into Scottsburg 5:30 to around 5:40, into the Sellersburg, Indiana area. Again, if these are holding together, there's no indication that these would lose strength anytime soon. At around 5:45 and into Madison at 6 p.m. Even into the evening time, even through sunset, we are going to have an incredible amount of unstable air. That is the fuel for these thunderstorms. And we also have some jet stream energy. Again, not a combination that we want this time of the year. Typically, the atmosphere, the jet stream is pretty lazy and weak this time of the year. That is not the case. Again, we've got that severe weather threat combination here for us. Strong rotation, strong winds here south of Lost River. Unfortunately, would not be surprised if there are some damaging wind gusts happening right now. Again, this is off to the west of Paoli and French Lick. That is some strong gate-to-gate shear. That is the wind that is going right by each other, the raindrops with the rotation right here. And if we look just, can we get the ruler out? It looks like we're only about 5 or 10 miles to the west of French Lick now. As I mentioned, time's running down for this to be heading right toward French Lick and West Baden Springs Valley Schools here. So it's only 6 miles away, and we're getting some more radar updates here. This is just to the south of Lost River, the southeastern corner here, just off to the southeast of Lost River. So very close to French Lick, only about 6 miles off to the west. West of you. Let's do that ruler on Paoli as well, just to give you an indication here of how close it is to central Orange County. So that's only about 10 to 15 miles out to the west of Paoli, heading towards the east and southeast, basically taking Highway 150, cutting right through Orange County. So that
Ben,
is.
we also have a camera from the Baden Springs Hotel up there in French Lick. So this is a look at what they're currently experiencing. Can't really see too much there, unfortunately, but you do get confirmation, obviously, that there's some very heavy rain there, possibly a little bit of hail that's going to be falling as well as that tornado continues to push to the east. And all of these moving at a speed of around 35 to 40 miles per hour. But that's the Baden Springs Hotel up in French Lick, a live look.
And we're going to have our cameras pointing off to the northwest too, and we can take some live views as these storms get closer. And where the storms are not happening yet, you can see the cloud cover off to the northwest in the distance. And when those storms get closer, First, the sky is going to darken. You're going to hear the rumbles of thunder. Then you're going to get the heavy rainfall. Torrential rain can cause quick ponding of water on the roadways. You do not want to be driving through this intense amount of rainfall that'll be coming down. So then next up, you got the chance for some large hail. There's been reports of hail over golf ball size, even tennis baseball size, with these warnings farther to the north. So damaging hail is going to be a major issue here with these supercells, unfortunately, through the rest of this afternoon and evening time. And then, of course, the threat of damaging wind gusts in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour. And then also the potential of tornadoes. There has been a confirmed tornado on the ground with that supercell near the Bedford area. So we've got 3 rotating supercells, one northwest of Brownstown, northwest of Jackson County. So this includes a tornado warned area just to the west of Brownstown, includes northeastern section of Lawrence County. Then we have this supercell number 2 that also has a warning there just off to the west of Bedford. I would not be surprised if you get included in this tornado next update of a tornado warning, possibly expanding to include other areas of Lawrence County near the Mitchell and Bedford area. Just want to be seeking shelter. We'll let you know, and it's clear as well when it's safe to get back out of your safe place. But right now you need to be seeking shelter around near the Bedford area, but really just to the west of Bedford, areas just to the southwest of Bedford and northwest of Mitchell, Indiana. And then we have this next supercell with some strong rotation very near the French Lick area. So we're only a few miles off to the west and southwest of downtown French Lick. So here's Highway 150. That is tracking due east-southeast. So we're hoping this will stay south of you, Paoli, but we're going to be watching you very closely as this continues to the east at around 35 to 40 miles per hour. It looks like that rotation, Alden, just to the north of Patoka Lake. So here's the latest track on some strong rotation, possible tornado on the ground heading toward French Lick in just a couple minutes. Youngs Creek, heads up, 506. Pine Valley at 510 into the Chambersburg area at 513. Rego at 520. Hardinsburg at around 523. South Central Schools there at 523 as well, and into the Rosebud, Indiana area at 527. So severe weather event is just beginning for Kentuckiana here at 450. We've had several tornado warned storms about 50 to 60 miles to the northwest of Louisville. This is green and red. So this is the velocity, this is the wind speeds of the raindrops with the Doppler effect showing the rotation in these supercells. Very strong rotation just west of French Lick. And then we also have this storm, perhaps not as impressive as earlier here. Hopefully that tornado is not still on the ground there in west central and southwestern sections of Lawrence County. There's the rotation, though, still fairly healthy. Here's Highway 50. There's Bedford. There's Mitchell. So that rotation looks like it's heading possibly right between Bedford and Mitchell here over the next 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so we'll put a track on that one as it moves to the east-southeast around 35-40 into the Terry Park area at 5 o'clock. Rabbittville at about 5:05 to 5:10. Burris Elementary School 5:10. Buda 5:12. Lawrenceport at 5:15. Stonington at about 5:15 and into the Bono area at 5:20. So off to the north and northeast, we have another possible tornado. Looks like this one is radar indicated. There's some of that rotation that's moving through the northeastern corner of Lawrence County near the Bartlesville area, Heltonville, Norman. You want to be seeking shelter as well. So this is right around Indiana 58, 446, where they come together. And then this is going to be moving into the Jackson County area. This one is tracking north of Highway 50, and then that's going to be heading possibly toward the Brownstown area. Let's go back to and take a look at our regular reflectivity, Alden, and show the storms, these 3 storms together, and do a little loop here just to give you an idea where they're heading. So you know these towns here in southern Indiana: Sellersburg, Henryville, Scottsburg, Seymour. This is heading your direction in the next, I'd say, 45 minutes, heading towards Interstate 65. So you've got a little bit of time to get your family plan ready to go, get your safe place ready, maybe gather some of the pillows and blankets, first aid kit. Let the family know where to go, where to be if a tornado warning is issued for your area. So this is the latest tornado warning that we have. This is northeastern Lawrence County. This is northwestern Jackson County. So this is tracking toward the Brownstown area and possibly toward Seymour. There is a look at the Hook Echo and the potential tornado there to the north of Bedford, Indiana. This is another supercell with the potential of large and damaging hail, damaging winds, heading near the Bedford, Indiana area too. And then farther south, we have supercell number 3 that possibly is producing a tornado near French Lick, Indiana, and just to the west of Paoli and just north of Patoka Lake.
And Ben, I've heard from our director, Max, that you can see that hail in French Lick.
Oh, yeah.
So oh, wow, yeah, you can really see it just bouncing there off of that tin roof. So this is fairly large hail, especially if we can see it as well as we can from here. So that's probably around ping pong to golf ball size in diameter as that's falling.
So you're right, we're looking right around West Baden and also the French Lick Resort. With that large hail. So it looks like this is quarter to golf ball size hail.
There's also been, the Weather Service also reports that they have a video of a rotating wall cloud near French Lick. So that's still a dangerous storm out there. There's no confirmed tornado, but there's definitely still a lot of energy with it. And there's still a lot of rotation as well.
And Max, let me know too when Reed is ready and available. I know they're heading up that direction, and our storm chaser, John Humphreys, as well. So this is the storm that we saw. Let's go ahead and zoom into French Lick. So you're getting the large hail. This is the hail core just to the west of Paoli. We definitely want to be seeking shelter now if you're around Paoli. Along Highway 150 towards French Lick, Livonia, and Campbellsburg, also be seeking shelter. This is look at the hail core right on top of French Lick right now. If we can query that, Alden, you might have to get rid of some of the warnings to see this, but I'm guessing we saw it with our own eyes. Probably around an inch and a half size hail. This is indicating 1.9 inches in that area right there. Sometimes it can be a little bit less than these numbers because of some melting, but still anywhere from about an inch to 2 inch size hail. We're talking golf ball, tennis ball size hail, potentially even baseball in some isolated circumstances. That can do damage to your cars, the roof of your home. It can hurt yourself. So even just the threat of hail, we want you to be inside until that alert and that warning is over with. So this is the motion of that hail core. You can see it heading right over French Lick right now. And this is going to be continuing to move off to the east-southeast, basically kind of taking the direction of Highway 150 through Orange County. Let's expand out a little bit and take a look at the other hail cores that we have. So these are the supercells that we're tracking. The hail a little bit less in that storm to the west of Bedford that was possibly producing a tornado a few minutes ago. And then we have a little bit of hail, not as bad, into the northeastern areas of Lawrence County. So this is a look at Highway 50 right here between Brownstown and Bedford. Back to the radar, you can see numerous lightning strikes too. So all the severe weather threats are on the table here for us that we're tracking. Very heavy torrential rainfall, light cloud-to-ground lightning. You're going to hear the thunder out of this. Damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes, and large and damaging hail is also going to be possible with these supercell thunderstorms. So this is Paoli, this is French Lick. You guys are right in the middle of it, the hail core coming down in French Lick. Is that hail still on the camera? If we can pull that one back up. So new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. So the hail still continuing here right on the rooftop of French Lick Resort and West Baden Springs. So there's some large hail coming down right on the rooftop. And again, that size hail can put some dents in your car and possibly damage the roof of your home as well. So let's go back to Max HD radar, and we're going to look at let's expand out a little bit. Just look at the kind of the regular reflectivity here, but that is showing the rotation in southwestern Orange County. This is about now, I would say 45, 50 miles to the northwest of Louisville. Louisville is right here, by the way. The weather model data was indicating that these storms getting closer to Louisville at about 6 p.m. as they're tracking east and southeast at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is for this supercell right here. That goes into northeastern Crawford, northern Harrison, includes Palmyra, and then the southwestern quarter of Washington County, Indiana, capable of producing a tornado. There is also this tornado warning that includes the Paoli area, French Lick. Still be seeking shelter at this time, still seeing that rotation. We can go ahead and check out the velocity here, Alden, near Patoka Lake, where we see that rotation, and then put a track on that. Very significant rotation still happening. Let's go ahead and query some of these too. It looks like we're probably looking around 60, 70 mile per hour winds
And Ben, something
yeah.
I've noticed with this too, that rotation doesn't seem to be quite as tight as what it was before. It's almost starting to bow out just a little bit. So the wind speeds actually for the severe thunderstorm warning are less than 50 miles per hour. So the warning is for the giant hail that's falling of around ping pong ball size up to golf ball size or larger. But there's definitely quite a bit of wind energy up there in the upper levels. But if we keep seeing that segment kind of bow out there, and if I back up, you'll kind of see what I mean a little better. Notice, see how it doesn't kind of loses that couplet a little bit. So it could be starting to evolve somewhat into more of a straight line wind threat, but that's still going to be a pretty significant hazard for us tonight as well.
And it doesn't take long for the situation to change and this to wrap back up and become another tornado threat. But the wind gusts could be in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour. Near French Lick is where the hail core is. It looks like that hail core is tracking toward Paoli, or if not already there. This is where we have some of the rotation. This is the area where there's a potential tornado south of French Lick, basically between French Lick and Patoka Lake. This is tracking east southeast down Highway 150 at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So we have the severe thunderstorm warning that includes southwestern Washington County, northwestern Harrison, and northeastern Crawford County. This is a look at the track as it moves to the southeast. It looks like taking a little bit more of a southeastern direction into the Pine Valley area at about 5:08. Hardinsburg at 5:22. Fredericksburg 5:30. Palmyra at around 5:35. New Salisbury at 5:40. Georgetown, Indiana at 5:50. Into Floyd's Knobs as we approach 6 o'clock, and New Albany the same. And also, of course, by that time, that's going to be getting very, very close to the Louisville metro area at about 6 o'clock. So very strong thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the viewing area here. We haven't mentioned Kentucky yet because the threat has not arrived in Kentucky just yet. You can see the storms getting very strong near Evansville. This is the activity in southern Indiana over the next hour or two, and then it's going to be moving into the metro Louisville area, the Ohio River, moving south of the Ohio River after 6 p.m., possibly heading towards Bardstown, Elizabethtown, Taylorsville, Shelbyville, I'd say around 7, 8 o'clock. So these storms are moving really, really fast. It's going to take a while for this severe weather threat to come to an end. Later on tonight, we have a tornado watch for most of the area, excluding Adair County until 11 p.m. We also have a tornado watch for Jackson, Jennings, and Lawrence counties until 8 p.m. Your severe weather threat will end a lot sooner since it's ongoing right now. Still have that tornado warning until 5:15 near Paoli and French Lick, Indiana. And then a severe thunderstorm warning has been extended off to the east of that. And then we have this tornado warning that is in west central Jackson County, and that we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that does now include Seymour, Indiana. And then this shading right here just indicates the tornado watch that we have covering nearly the entire WHS 11 viewing area. The severe weather threat is up to the north, up I-65 and towards Indianapolis as well. So Indiana really, really busy with these supercells and the severe weather event happening right now. Into Paoli, let's check out the hail core again. We'll go from south to north and do the tracks and take a look at what we have here as far as the severe weather threats. There's a look at that hail core again right on top of French Lick. Let's check out the video live cam again and see if that hail has come to an end. Usually hail doesn't last very long because the hail cores aren't usually very wide. It looks like we've switched over to heavy rain, and maybe some of that hail is starting to melt here around French Lick, but it was coming down pretty fast and hard here around French Lick Resort. Back to reflectivity, there is a look at that hail right now near French Lick. It's probably out ahead of this image a little bit, so that hail core is probably now off to the east of downtown French Lick, very near Paoli. Here's Indiana 37, here's Highway 150. This is a strong and possibly dangerous thunderstorm right over the top of central Orange County, right over the middle of Orange County right now. There's still a hook echo, so this indicates the possible rotation. Here is the tornado warning area that, again, includes French Lick. Now, the good news for French Lick, it looks like the threat of a tornado is off to the south and southeast of you. Once that hail has come to an end, it looks like your severe weather threat is over with for now. Paoli, it's a large hail threat and damaging wind threat. And then if there is a tornado, it would be generally in this location. Let's look all in and see if we have any rotation with the velocity.
And speaking of that, actually, the Weather Service now in Louisville says that they currently don't have plans to extend that tornado warning. So they'll likely let that expire at 5:15, but they're going to keep an eye on it, of course.
Very good. Here's a look at the velocity, still indicating some very strong winds. This is southwestern Orange County, south of Paoli. So if there's any good news with this supercell, it looks like the worst of it is staying south of you in French Lick. It is staying south of you in Paoli. However, there's large hail happening between French Lick and the Paoli area. So if you're in Pine Valley, you want to be seeking shelter. Potential tornado heading your direction. So here is Highway 37 in southern Orange County, south of Paoli. Please be seeking shelter if you live in this general area. It looks like as it continues to the east and southeast, this is going to be moving towards Highway 150 between Paoli and then and into the Hardinsburg area. Up to the north, how's the rotation looking on so the rotation does not look significant right now in northeastern Lawrence County. So here's Bedford. I want to give you an update here in Bedford too. So there's just kind of some broad rotation right there with that supercell. Let's go ahead and go back to reflectivity and check out that severe thunderstorm. So this is the one in Orange County. Let's go north into Lawrence County up around Highway 50. And so this has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. It does not look as organized as it did earlier, but the potential of some smaller hail, heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and some strong wind gusts here just south of Bedford and into the Mitchell area. This is tracking toward northern sections of Washington County and the southern areas of Jackson County. So we're talking about the Muscatatuck River right here, which is the border of Washington County and near the East Fork of the White River as well. Then we have that other supercell with some broad rotation moving into northern Jackson County, not far off from you in Brownstown. There's that tornado warning for this storm. And then this is also expanded out to have a severe thunderstorm warning to include Brownstown around the Seymour area. So you're under that threat of severe weather through much of Jackson County, Indiana. That's about 50, 60 miles off to the north of Louisville up Interstate 65. Right now, the threat here still in southeastern Lawrence County. And again, these are not tracking real rapidly right now at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. The strongest supercell, I'd say, Alden, is still here in Orange County with the potential of that hail core just south of Paoli. That's that deeper color of that red purple shading right there indicating large hail. We did see that large hail on our live cam there in French Lick, Indiana, and there's still potential. There's just kind of a little appendage right here, and that is where there's the potential of some rotation and possibly a quick spin up tornado. So this is Indiana 37 south of Paoli where that's going to be crossing right over. Let's go back to our velocity product and do a track where the worst rotation is. We'll do a hail core track and then we'll do the rotation track. So the worst part of the rotation, the potential of a tornado is in southern Orange County right now. That is the hail core, and we can actually start the track here just out ahead of it, just south of Paoli. I think that hail core is right here, about to cross over Highway 37. So we can do a track on the hail core.
One second, Ben. Yeah. We just got a new tornado warning. I'm going to check on this really quick.
Okay, sure.
This is a new tornado warning for Jackson, Indiana until 5:45 Eastern Time. A radar indicated rotation, noting this storm is 8 miles to the northwest of Brownstown, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So that's back up here. They've issued a new one. This is out of the Weather Service in Indianapolis. We can put on the velocity there for that one if you'd like. It looks like you're kind of looking in this area near Freetown.
Yeah, rotation doesn't look as strong there, but definitely being cautious with this tornado warning that now includes, it looks like Seymour, Indiana. Let's clean up this map and just look at the warnings here, Alden. We've got a lot going on here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that are getting overlaid with some tornado warnings. But the severe weather threat exists here for much of Jackson County. So if you're around Seymour and Brownstown, be seeking shelter now. The safest thing to do is, here's some tips for you. Get away from the doors and the windows. Get to the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, you want to be in the middle of your home. That might be your bathroom, hallway, closet. But if you have a basement, go directly to the basement or the smallest center room that we were just talking about. Stay calm and stay away from the windows, but have the urgency to get to seeking shelter if this alert is for you and you have a tornado warning now. Cover yourself up. You can get pillows and blankets. And as we mentioned, you want to get as many walls between you and the outside of your home. Now, if you live in a mobile home, you don't want to be in a mobile home. Please seek a sturdier shelter to keep you and your family safe during an event like this. Severe weather threats going to continue here for hours. We have that tornado watch that continues until 11 o'clock. So let's go back and we'll do a track here on the latest tornado warned storm. And it's because of this supercell and right now northern Jackson County. We'll take a look, and here, so the rain is coming down in Seymour. The heaviest rain is just off to the northwest of you. So there's a look at where that rotation possibly is, near the Freetown, Indiana area. That's just north of Brownstown. So heading your direction, Brownstown at about 5:25, Seymour at 5:36, into Crothersville at 5:45, Hardy Lake at 6, into DuPont at 6:11, Hanover at 5:20, and into Madison, Indiana at about 6:26. I'm not sure why that Hanover is showing Central Time, but that's going to be heading towards your direction at about 6:20 as it moves into possibly Jefferson County, Indiana. So all of this is crossing through and passing through southern Indiana right now. Here is Seymour under that new tornado warning. And does that tornado warning go until 5:30, 5:45?
5:45 Central, Eastern Time, excuse me.
5:45 with this latest tornado warning. And again, can we go ahead and clean it up one more time and take a look at just the warnings? So we've got this storm that has possible rotation near Freetown. So in this warning here, covering much of Jackson County, Indiana. Here's Highway 50 through Brownstown, Seymour, Crothersville, south down I-65, and Highway 31. So as we mentioned, as we approach 5:30, that severe weather threat is going to be moving towards Interstate 65 here in Jackson County. Then we've got severe thunderstorm warnings off to the south that include the Mitchell area, and then a very large severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of an older tornado warning around the Paoli area. So right cutting through the middle of the severe thunderstorm warning is Highway 150. There's Palmyra right on the edge of that severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, back to reflectivity here, and let's go and do a loop over the last hour or so and you can kind of get an idea, some perspective of the direction and the motion of these supercell thunderstorms as they're crossing southern Indiana. So you can see they're moving to the east with a little bit of a southeastern motion as well. So far, if you look closely here, it looks like the worst of it is moving just north and south of you if you're in Salem. So we've had the hail move through the Paoli area in French Lick, and then you got this second strong thunderstorm here. And it looks like this one, thankfully, has been weakening. Notice earlier that had a large hail core as it passed near Bedford and Mitchell, Indiana. That storm right there has been weakening, so it doesn't look like the severe thunderstorm warning will be expanded anymore to the east, which would have included around the Muscatatuck River, northern Washington County area in Indiana. Also, this supercell right here, capable of producing a tornado. It does have a tornado warning on it. There has been some rotation. This tornado warning issued from the National Weather Service office in Indianapolis, heading toward near Brownstown, Seymour. Just be seeking shelter just in case. Again, tornado warning there for much of Jackson County. Lowest level of your home and away from the doors and the windows. Excuse me. Off to the south, this storm still is very healthy in Orange County, southern Orange County. We still have some rotation, it looks like, with this thunderstorm. It looks like, Alden, if we go down here, it looks like there has been some tightening of that hail, the hail core right here, but tightening of that rotation. It looks like we do have some spin, and it looks like that's going to be tracking to the east to southeastern Orange County here over the next few minutes.
I would say that's probably beginning to tighten back up there just a little bit. And looking at some storm reports that have come out of French Lick there in Orange County, there was a report of hail the size of eggs, so around 2 inches in diameter. That came in around just before 5 p.m. So there was very, very large hail up there. Also, the Weather Service in Indianapolis has canceled that original tornado warning that was in Lawrence County. But we are going to be watching that southern Orange County rotation right there just a little bit more, because that could be tightening back up. And if we look back up here to our north near Freetown, south of Freetown is where there would probably be some rotation there if there was. I'll circle that for you. It's this area right here that would probably have, if there was, there's no confirmed tornado, but that's the area of rotation that we're keeping an eye on and watching very closely at the moment. The other cell that was moving through Bedford and Lawrence County has since dissipated, but I am going to talk with the Weather Service here, Ben, in just a moment and inquire if they also agree that there's a retightening there of that cell that's to the northwest now of Marengo.
Can you go ahead and put on the debris tracker, and we'll take a look at if we're seeing anything picked up as the storm gets a little bit closer to the radar. So nothing really defined here. We typically will see like a blue circle that would indicate the possible debris. Right now, not seeing anything like that at the moment, but still some rotation here happening just to the northwest of the Marengo, Indiana area. There's a look at Highway 64, 66 up to 150. Back to radar, lots of lightning strikes with this, potentially some large hail still. Looks like that hail core is just south down 37. Right here in southeastern Orange County, Indiana, so just to the west of Hardensburg. So this is about 5-6 miles to the west of Hardensburg. Potentially some damaging hail heading your direction. If you're in the Hardensburg area, you've just got maybe a couple minutes here before that hail is heading your way. So please be seeking shelter. You might have enough time to go ahead and get the car in the garage. We do not have a tornado warning on this. Again, this is the older tornado warning that has expired. Good news for that is that your threat is over with here in Paoli and French Lick. The hail's gone, and the tornado threat is now gone around Paoli and French Lick in the western half now of Orange County. So this is the threat that we have at the moment. Just south down Pine Valley, here's 37. This is the rotation. Is this storm relative, or is this
That's relative.
Okay, let's check out base, and then we might be able to query some of the stronger winds. I'm guessing this is over 60 miles per hour right here. So this is around 55 mile per hour winds, 62 mile per hour winds. Anything over 60 is considered severe. That's when you have a severe thunderstorm warning, is when you have the potential wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and possibly quarter size or inch size hail is what will prompt a severe thunderstorm warning. Was that a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped out?
Yes, it was. Let me just pull up our regular warnings map here. Yeah, that's for the same cell that we've been tracking now. So that's moved eastward a little bit. It now includes Livonia. It pretty much includes Pekin, Palmyra, Marengo. It includes you as well. That's until 5:30 Eastern time for hail around 1 inch in diameter, which is around quarter size, and then 60 mile per hour wind gusts.
Let's look at the viewing area, Alden, with that map right there, the warnings, and see all of what we have. So some of these are going to be older warnings. It looks like this is the new one, Alden. In Du Bois County, includes northwestern Perry County. So this is that cell that was near Evansville not long ago. So the southern tail of this broken line of supercells is expanding to the southwest. So it's going to be these two right here that will have the threat for Louisville, I would say, in about 45 minutes to an hour as we approach 6 p.m. On this view here, let's go ahead and put the radar on the loop, and we can see this cell that's heading near the Jasper area. So this is tracking just along and north of Interstate 64, potentially some large hail with this storm. I bet that's a hail producer, perhaps more than a wind threat, just by the look of it. So this is going to be heading near Ferdinand and south of Jasper through Du Bois County. So there's the hail core on this one. So it's going to be kind of a hail threat at the moment as this heads towards 231 into Du Bois County. So that is our newest severe thunderstorm warning. And that is a good 60 miles out to the west of Louisville. Have the hail continuing here in southeastern Orange County. The hail doesn't necessarily look as bad. And then here's that tornado warning for this storm that issued by Indianapolis National Weather Service that includes Seymour and Brownstown. So active weather day here. Severe weather threat continues in southern Indiana. We have a tornado watch that includes Metro Louisville and much of the viewing area until 11 p.m. So just be extra weather aware. If these storms are heading anywhere near your community, you just want to probably delay any travel, any outdoor plans for now. This is not a safe situation with this many warnings coming through southern Indiana in this tornado watch. This storm will have a threat for northern Harrison County, and then eventually, if it holds together, we're going to have to watch out around Floyd County, New Albany, and the Knobs as this is heading kind of along and south of Highway 150.
A new report on that storm too. Weather spotters out there are reporting a rotating wall cloud, but it's aloft for right now. So this is just for potential. So there is some rotation with this storm, but for right now they're leaving that tornado warning off of it. But they are mentioning a rotation with that storm that's that little southern appendage there that's making its way toward Marengo, Hardinsburg, Indiana. You're probably starting to get some very large hail with this right now too.
Yeah, no doubt there's some rotation. That's near Marengo, the Marengo Caves area, so northeastern Crawford County, heading your direction. So we're getting closer to Metro now with these storms. So here's Greenville, Indiana, Georgetown, Floyd's Knobs, Floyd County, Harrison County, and into Washington County. It looks like the hail could be coming down as well along Highway 150 in southwestern Washington County. So the threat is staying south of you in Salem. The threat is over with as far as the tornado threat around Paoli and French Lick, and much of Orange County will be out of that threat here shortly once we can get this guy moving to the southeast. So rotation here right on the county line. This is Orange County, this is Crawford County, and this is Orange County, and there is that rotation. So green and red next to each other is not a good thing. That is the spin and the rotation. And then blue is not good either. That indicates wind speeds up around 60 mile per hour plus. And so that is heading right toward Marengo right now. So here's the 66 connecting with 64 right here near Milltown, near the Blue River. Of course, you've got the canoeing trips that have been probably happening all day long down the Blue River at this location. Hopefully folks here will have a way to stay safe and get to your place of shelter if the warning is issued for your area. Here's a look at the motion of some of the rotation that we have into northeastern Crawford County around Marengo, Indiana. That is probably the worst storm that we're tracking right now as it continues off to the southeast, east-southeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So please be in your place of shelter if you're in northeastern Crawford County. There along 64, 66, there is a rotating thunderstorm supercell there. Just to the north of the rotation is where the hail core is. So these are classic thunderstorm setups here. Again, the sequence that you may encounter is first the thunder. You'll hear the thunder, then the sky will darken. You'll see the lightning strikes, the heavy rainfall coming in on the front side. Then when you get to the middle of the storm, that's when you're getting into the hail core. The damaging hail is going to be possible over an inch in size, quarter golf ball, maybe tennis ball size hail with the amount of energy and fuel that's out there in this atmosphere. And then to the southwest of the hail core is where you have the rotation and the possible tornado. You're going to see these storms here, these supercells taking this similar form and look, again, with the heavy rain, the hail, and then the tornado threat throughout this late afternoon into the evening time. So this is the setup that we have. A lot of energy, not only the fuel, the hot, unstable air, but also some pretty strong winds aloft, especially for this time of year. We do have some jet stream energy that are fueling these storms and keeping them very strong. So supercell here that is heading towards the Palmyra area, New Salisbury. This is going to be heading your direction very soon too. Right now, the biggest threat is in northeastern Crawford County. You can still see some of that rotation. Look at that, Alden. Let's go ahead and check the debris tracker just in case on this storm. So here's Interstate 64, by the way. That's showing some good rotation. Don't see perhaps much in the way of debris at this time. There is not a tornado warning for this thunderstorm, but there is some significant rotation. Right now, that rotation, the wall cloud, which is the precursor to a tornado, is staying aloft, and that's what we want. We want that rotation to stay up top where the cloud level is. If it does come to the ground, that's when we get the damage from the tornado or some of the damaging winds, just some straight line winds as well.
Ben, do you want to look around the metro? We haven't looked outside in a minute.
Yeah, let's take a look at our cameras here are looking to the northwest. You're going to see the sky is darkening already from Louisville now, looking to the northwest. And we've got our storm chaser Reed Yaden, John Huffers out in southern Indiana. Let's see where they are and what they are up to. We're getting some of that heavy rainfall. So Reed, if you can hear me, tell us your location and what your strategy is here.
Yep. Ben, we just pulled in, we're pulling in here at the four-way stop at Palmyra. This is as far as we are going to go. We're going to let it come to us, which it's doing. We're picking up a little rain and nothing in the way of winds here yet, but we expect that to change based on what you and Alden are talking about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the outdoor camera here, and we'll show you exactly what's going on. We have not encountered, needless to say, any weather yet, but you can see the quickly changing skies ahead of us. So again, we will stay in Palmyra. We're also checking ahead up in Orange County for possible damage up there. It sounds like they've been worked over really well with particularly some large hail. And we'll monitor the situation here at Palmyra. Then we intend to just follow it on into the metro once it gets to Palmyra, the supercell that you and Alden have been talking about. So that's the plan for the moment. We're on the road, we're in it, and we'll be back in touch with you as we need to be, hopefully shortly.
All right, thank you, Reed. Yeah, we'll check in with you. Stay safe out there. So this is kind of a storm chaser's dream. Those are mammatus clouds that we're looking here with our Belmont Village cam, our U of L campus cam. So these are little pouches here that develop on the anvil or the very tall clouds that spread out from the thunderstorm. This is on the underneath side. So these are called mammatus clouds. They are typically associated with a strong thunderstorm. And the bigger the mammatus clouds indicates just a very strong supercell. So this is some interesting storm chasing. As Alden mentioned earlier, these are the kind of storms that you see out in the Great Plains where we're surrounded by blue sky. So the visibility to see some of the features of these supercell thunderstorms are really good out there for today. Unfortunately, we don't want any of the damage from these thunderstorms that we're tracking. So let's look at the whole viewing area again, and we're going to take a look at southern Indiana. We're going to do some tracks on where we have the threat of severe weather. So let's go ahead and back out our view. Here's Metro Louisville. Here's this supercell that Reed's at. Reed is in Palmyra right now, northern Harrison County, waiting on that thunderstorm to go through. As Reed also mentioned, outside of the storms, it could be very calm, hot, sunny. And then when that sky darkens, that's nature's way to tell you that that storm is on the way. Of course, if you hear thunder, when the thunder roars, get indoors as the safest thing to do. New severe thunderstorm warning looks like just came out. So we've got more storms lining up out to the west. Okay.
Paoli and Orangeville, you're about to get a second round there of some extremely heavy rain, which frankly, Ben, is kind of impressive to look at, seeing as we just had that really strong cell move through, but there's still enough juice, enough fuel in the atmosphere that we can still have a second, albeit smaller, mini supercell kind of beginning to push through that area. So flooding could also be a concern here, especially if we start to see these train for whatever reason, and they're not moving the fastest, so you're going to be able to pick up that rain accumulation relatively quickly. But so far, I don't see any any flooding reports. There are hail reports though of around ½ an inch near Huntingburg. There was an earlier report of 1 inch hail, so around quarter size on the I-64 near the Holland exit. And there was, I saw another large hail report here just a moment ago of about, I think, ping pong ball size hail, there it was, in Crawford County at Marengo. That was only about 3 minutes ago.
Just a number of severe thunderstorm warnings that we are tracking here in southern Indiana. So earlier I said Paoli and French Lick here in the clear. Well, heads up, we've got a brand new supercell that just popped up here in northern Orange County. So that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Capable of producing a spin-up tornado. Don't let your guard down with any of these supercells that are firing up throughout southern Indiana right now. That threat's going to be moving closer to Louisville as we approach 6 o'clock with that storm right there. And you can see some more storms out to the southwest too, near Interstate 64, just south of downtown Jasper, so in southern Du Bois County. Seymour, very heavy rainfall, possibly some hail. We still have a tornado warning out until 5:45 for much of Jackson County. We've been looking at the rotation here. This is not as impressive. It's still some broad rotation. It's a strong thunderstorm. But as far as the increased severe weather threat from a tornado, not as great here in the eastern sections of Jackson County. Still, if you have any kind of warning, you just want to stay inside and wait until it's over. Of course, if you have a tornado warning, you want to be in your safest place of your home, away from the doors and the windows, lowest level of your home. You may have time to maybe get the kid's helmet, maybe the pillows, blankets, whatever you can to kind of protect yourself from any possible debris if the situation worsens under that tornado warned area.
Ben, we keep getting a lot of hail reports coming in through the National Weather Service. Near French Lick, this is likely a delayed report, but coming in about 5 minutes ago, of baseball-sized hail in French Lick. So that is hail that would cause damage to your car if it's outside. So if you're in Metro Louisville and you have the ability to get your car inside or under some type of shelter, I'd encourage you to try and do that as soon as possible in case those storms maintain their strength. Also, a more recent report that just came in from a storm spotter on the scene in Ireland, west of Jasper, of golf ball-sized hail there as well. So it's not very often that we find ourselves in a severe weather event where we have such a large hail, but that is what we're looking at right now, in addition to, of course, heavy rain and some of the tornado threats as well.
Yeah, so very potent, strong thunderstorms that we were watching. Severe storms, severe thunderstorm warning here in Du Bois County, northwestern Perry County, and just a little sliver there of western Crawford County. As we move to the east, Alden, let's go ahead and also track these storms as well, where they are heading. They're moving east-southeast about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So this storm that's over Palmyra, some of the heavy rainfall there, also has that hail core. This is the one that had that very large hail that Alden mentioned that went through the French Lick area. So it's had a history of putting down possibly damaging hail. Alden mentioned that can be dangerous to your car. It can also be dangerous to yourself when you get hail that large. You want to be inside. So heading towards Georgetown, Indiana at about 5:55, New Salisbury at about 5:45. So you see that direction right there through northern Harrison County. And if it holds together, we'll be heading through Floyd County, Indiana. So we've got Floyd's Knobs on here at about 6 to 6:10. Into Metro Louisville at about 6:15 to 6:20. Into Fern Creek at 6:35. Mount Washington, Simpsonville, Shelbyville, just an early heads up here. Next hour, hour and a half, that threat is going to be moving over the Ohio River through Metro Louisville and into your direction. Let's expand out to see all of southern Indiana, and we'll do an hour loop or so. And you can see that these are, again, just firing up, explosive development here with this very hot day that we have out there with temperatures up to near 90 degrees. This is just a large amount of fuel for these storms to grow and become severe. Tornado warning continues here for Seymour until 5:45. Be seeking shelter there.
Then we also
severe
have
thunderstorm warning here in northern Orange County. Yeah, Alden?
I was just going to say, if we could go back to the French Lick hotel camera, because there's more hail up there now that's pelting at the roof. You can see it bouncing off, and they've just have been. He's working on getting that up for us, Ben. And this is the second round now of a very large hail that's pushed through Paoli. So I would not be surprised if we end up seeing a lot of hail reports. So this is actually the West Baden Springs Hotel near the French Lick area, but northern Orange County, north of Paoli, north of US 150 there is where you're going to be seeing some of that extremely large hail potentially at the moment. And I'm also seeing quite a few lightning strikes from there as well.
Yeah, that's another part of this story, Alden. If you want to back out and do the lightning counter, and we can see that these are just counting the lightning strikes that are hitting the ground, by the way. There's a ton of lightning that happens cloud to cloud. These are the cloud to ground lightning strikes that can be dangerous. So again, if you hear the thunder, head inside. 700 lightning strikes over the last half hour. The lightning is going to be concentrated where you have rotation, where you have hail cores and very heavy rainfall. So we've got a concentration of lightning around Seymour. A big concentration of lightning with that storm we were just talking about near Paoli and just north of French Lick. This is another core, basically concentration of lightning strike with that hail threat in northern Harrison County near Palmyra. And then there's more areas of just frequent hundreds of lightning strikes here right in the middle of Du Bois County. So we've got about 4 supercells that we're basically tracking. This one is putting down some hail potential. Let's go ahead and put the hail product on here too, Alden. And there you can see several hail cores. This is that tornado warning here. It looks like that's been trimmed up, this tornado warned area along I-65 in Seymour, Indiana. Again, please be seeking shelter there. Just to the north of Brownstown and to the northeast. There's that latest hail core that we're tracking in northwestern Orange County, Indiana. Here's another area of some possibly damaging hail heading near Palmyra. It looks like perhaps the worst of it will stay just off to the southwest of Palmyra. And this has had a history of producing golf ball size hail between Jasper and Ferdinand. Yeah, let's take a look at where Reed is now. I know just a moment ago he was in Palmyra, Indiana. Reed, where are you at now?
Okay, we're just west of Palmyra a little bit. We want to give you a view of the storm. You can see the change in the sky there. Tops on this thing running about 50,000 feet. It is a big one. And this is the one that's moving into our area now, starting to pick up a little lightning. Rain has stopped at the moment where we are. We're close to Ramsey at the moment. And we just wanted to give you a view of what these things look like. They're just unbelievable cloud formations this afternoon. You can spot these storms, and as you've been talking about, we're used to being out in these things where they're moving at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour across the land. Well, these things are really slow movers, so there's a lot of time to maneuver around, get in front of them. There's also a lot of time, thankfully, to get prepared, and you and Alden are handling that aspect of it. So at the moment, it looks to me like we may be ready. I don't know, I thought I saw a little, just very fine hail coming down here, but it sounds like it too on the car. We'll keep you updated, but at the moment, we're staying here, but eventually we're going to work our way, as the weather does, we'll be working our way into the metro with this storm that we're all tracking.
Yeah, so this shot is great. You can see the inflow of the air flowing into that supercell thunderstorm, and then at the very top, you've got kind of the overspray, the anvil on top of the thunderstorm. So you're taking some classic structure that we see in textbooks when you study meteorology and severe weather, the kind of thing we see in the Great Plains a lot of times, kind of your Kansas, Oklahoma style supercell thunderstorms with the amount of energy that we have in the atmosphere today. This is kind of the thing that we were concerned about with this hot weather that we have out there today, and also some jet stream energy. Let's get back to the radar and do some tracks. This is a look at Reed mentioned how tall the thunderstorms are, getting over 40, 50,000 feet, and then also showing some of that hail possibly coming to the ground. Sometimes that hail will stay aloft with winds over 50, actually 100 miles per hour. With that updraft, it'll hold that hail core up, and then sometimes it'll drop down. Looks like that hail core possibly making it to the ground here. As we go back to the flat map here, this is a look at that hail core. Got a couple hail cores here that could be putting down some damaging hailstones. So this is northern Harrison County now. Still some rotation in this thunderstorm. This is the storm that we're looking at with Reed. So the worst of it's now just to the east of Marengo and south of Hardinsburg. Heads up though, it's heading your direction in New Salisbury, Palmyra, some heavy rainfall. This is tracking right down Highway 150, basically along and south of 150. So this, on that path, that will be heading toward Georgetown, New Albany, and Floyd's Knobs, I'd say over the next 20 to 30 minutes heading your direction. New supercell that fired up with a severe thunderstorm warning in Paoli still seeks shelter, northern half of Orange County. Yeah, Alden?
We kind of left out Du Bois County here. I just want to bring that back up because there is, we've talked about these before, a considerable tag on it for the damage threat, and that's more so for the large hail that's been observed with these up to around 2 inches in diameter, more so than the wind speeds, which are around 60 miles per hour. But that cell is not looking quite as supercellular as we would say compared to the other ones that we've been tracking. It's kind of really more so just a blob. But that one's also moving due east there along I-64. And we can also go ahead and put another track back on there for you for these cells that are that one that's near Palmyra. That's moving to the east-northeast and kind of dragging that out there in the general shape of the polygon. But that would put it in Louisville around 6:16, near Okolona at around 6:27, Mount Washington about 6:43 p.m., near Georgetown at 5:55, so that's coming up relatively soon, and also in Floyd's Knobs at around 6:04, so just after the top of the hour. These storms aren't moving very fast. We've had a lot of storms this year that have really just blown through our area at 70, 80 miles per hour. If you remember the big windstorm, these are moving considerably slower, around 30 to 40 miles per hour. That can be a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing in the sense that it gives you a lot more time to get prepared and get to your safe place, to get to shelter. However, it's a bad thing in the sense that it can prolong that damage. We also have a new tornado warning that's just come out here, Ben. Let's pull out here and look up to our north. That's still for that cell there that's in Jennings counties at the moment. Does not include North Vernon. The worst of that cell has just moved to the east of Seymour, but if you're in Lovett, you're in that tornado warning. Also just to the north of Caruthersville too, and just outside of DuPont rather, you're just outside of that new tornado warning. That one's still coming from the Weather Service up in Indianapolis. Radar indicated until 6:15 p.m., moving east at 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, they've had a tornado warning on this cell for quite some time. It looks like that threat is now just to the east of Seymour, east of Brownstown. So this is where the circulation is, and it looks like it's hitting right over Interstate 65. Highway 50 is right here at basically exit 50, exit 55 up around Seymour, Indiana. So Louisville's down here. Here's your trip northbound up 65 when you get into Jackson County and near Seymour. So just north of Crothersville is where you could run into some trouble with some rotation right there crossing Interstate 65. So that track that Alden put on, you can see the towns and communities. If you live near these areas, you want to be seeking shelter right now. Lowest level of your home, away from the doors and the windows. So Alden mentioned Lovett at around 550. So that's only in about 10 or 15 minutes. In the DuPont area at 6 o'clock, Middle Fork at 6:05, and in the Anderson Elementary School area at 6:15. Madison, if it holds together, heads up for you at 6:15. Milton, so we're crossing the river from Madison over to Milton, Kentucky at about 6:20. And into Brooks and Carrollton. So we're starting to talk about Kentucky now, which we haven't done yet, but we're starting to see these storms get a little bit closer now to the Ohio River. So there's DuPont. There's still some circulation here around Seymour, Indiana. So that circulation, the red near the green, is basically right on top of Interstate 65 and Highway 31 to the south and southeast of Seymour. Hopefully no one is trying to drive through that. That's not a safe situation. And so is this the storm relative or is this base?
This is base.
Okay, so base velocity, to get some broad rotation right now. Not seeing the blue colors on the color palette here, which would indicate winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, but still we got a radar beam that's going up at about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 feet once we get this far from the radar. Seymour, Jackson, Jennings County, basically right between Indianapolis and the Louisville radars, so a little bit farther away. Sometimes you can get these spin ups that aren't seen this high up that can come to the ground and obviously cause EF0, EF1, a dangerous situation. So this is the area. Let's go ahead and go back to just the warning map, and we can see the worst of it just to the south of Seymour. Here's Highway 50 over to North Vernon. Here's the area of concern, the tornado warning that includes up and down Interstate 65 into the Lovett area, the southwestern half here of Jennings County. So that the shape of your tornado warning indicates the direction that the storm is heading. So it's heading to the east southeast. If it holds together, here's your early heads up around Madison and Hanover, heading into Jefferson County in Indiana. Stay on our warnings and we'll take a look off to the southwest where we have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings as well, to include the northern half of Harrison County, and now we've got northwestern Floyd County under this severe thunderstorm warning until 6 p.m. So it's one of our latest severe thunderstorm warnings with the potential of large and damaging hail. We've had reports in French Lick of hail possibly up to near baseball size. This is another supercell that's developed near Paoli, northeastern Orange County, and then we have the hail producing supercell in Du Bois County as well. So busy, active day here that we are tracking for you here in southern Indiana as these storms are moving to the east and southeast at about 35 miles per hour. The rain from this storm is getting much closer to Louisville. Let's take a look at our outside cams from our Louisville area, and we'll take a look at the sky, which I'm sure is going to start to get darker and darker if you're looking from Louisville. So that's our Belmont Village cam. This is looking from University of Louisville as that rain gets a little bit closer. Also that dark sky there. Again, when you're not in the thunderstorm, the winds are actually going to be fairly light. It's going to be a nice day, but when obviously the storms approach, your sky is going to get dark, and then you'll have that heavy rain and the thunder and the lightning. We've got frequent lightning strikes too, as we've been talking here, as we cover the severe weather event today on this Sunday, late afternoon, evening time. We have pretty much all those severe weather threat hazards on the table, meaning heavy rainfall, potential of some flash flooding. We've got frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, damaging wind gusts in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour, possibility of large and damaging hail, and can't rule out a tornado threat too. So this is looking right over the Ohio River from on top of the Galt House toward these thunderstorms that are just kind of lining up back to back here just to the northwest of Louisville. This is Highway 150 up towards Palmyra, still being your place of shelter in northern Harrison County. This storm is the worst of it, staying so far north of Corden, and this is where we have some potential rotation, although it doesn't look quite as healthy as it did just a little bit earlier. There's some of that rotation, still indicating some wind gusts possibly in excess of 60 miles per hour just to the northwest of the Corden area. Here's Interstate 64. There's your Corden exit. You can go north to New Salisbury or south to Corden right there. And this is getting closer to Georgetown, Lanesville in the next few minutes, and then possibly heading towards New Albany and the Knobs in about 20 to 30 minutes. Backing up our view again and just taking a look at our severe thunderstorm warnings off to the southwest, where we have that severe thunderstorm warning in Du Bois County. Haven't extended this severe thunderstorm warning to the east to include more of Crawford County yet, but that has been a hail-producing thunderstorm there. We still have this small tornado-warned area to the southeast of Seymour near the Lovett, Indiana area, and that tornado warning goes until 6:15. Is that right, Alden?
Let me double check. Yes.
So 6:15 tornado warning there. That includes southwestern areas of Jennings County, and then it's going to be moving out of Jackson County here pretty soon. Let's go to a more broad view and just see if there's any development behind this broken line of storms. What you want to have happen is the storm moves through and then the threat is over with. However, this one built up right behind that one. So you can see we are in the clear once you get farther away from these clusters of showers and thunderstorms. So it looks like, and hopefully we're going to be done for the day as far as severe weather in Bedford, Indiana. So it's going to take some time to clear the threat away, as Alden mentioned, they're just not quick moving thunderstorms. We've had thunderstorms in the springtime, wintertime move at 60 miles per hour, and these are moving at about half of that. Let's loop this over the last hour. Starting to see a thunderstorm here in western Kentucky. These are going to be heading along and north of the Western Kentucky Parkway. That's just a look at the rainfall that we had earlier today. So the ground is saturated, and when these storms move over some of these same areas that had the heavy rainfall, flash flooding could become a threat. There is look at about 3.5 inches of rainfall that Elizabethtown had earlier today. So back to the radar, getting very close to Louisville now. We've got the rain moving into New Albany. It's going to pick up and get heavier. We're going to have to watch out for this hail core. Still seeing the potential of some large and damaging hail between New Salisbury and Palmyra. Rotation still indicated. So these are going to be really ominous, scary looking clouds as we have possible wall cloud, which is the precursor to a tornado. We just have to watch out for the possible rotation here very closely just to the northwest of Corden, heading over Interstate 64. So now we're only about 15 miles to the west of downtown Louisville with this supercell thunderstorm. So heads up, if you're doing any outdoor activities in Metro Louisville, might want to wrap things up. Keep us on air. We'll let you know as these storms get closer to downtown Louisville and our suburbs and surrounding areas as well.
And Ben, that storm in Harrison County, I think, is probably our most threatening right now, even though, yes, we do have that tornado warning up to our north. And if you look at this loop closely here, it looks like the cell weakened a little bit, but now it could even be starting to grow again somewhat as well. So these are very healthy. We have a very potent environment. We said earlier that the type of environment that we have right now is usually something that you would find in the Great Plains, you know, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, more so than what you would see here. And these are also moving relatively slowly. So we've been tracking this storm now for quite some time as it slowly makes its way toward Metro Louisville. And if it continues on its current path there, I would imagine the southwestern half, or at least the western half of Jefferson County, is going to be facing some torrential rain here in the next 10 or so minutes, in addition to possibly some large hail. But they have not expanded that severe thunderstorm warning as of yet.
Yeah, as you mentioned, very potent, robust, strong thunderstorm supercells here, tracking southeast about 35 miles per hour. So we're getting that rainfall now over New Albany. That rain's about to bump over here over the Sherman-Minton Bridge into downtown Louisville. So you'll get the steady rain and then the heavy rain and then the possible hail. And I'm watching out for potential rotation. These can drop quick spin-up tornadoes, typically like an EF0, EF1, and also some isolated damaging wind gusts. This cell here near Paoli, Alden, how's the rotation and the hail core looking in that one? So the rotation not that significant looking right now. So the tornado threat much lower with that cell that did have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but it also had some reported hail. Still a very strong thunderstorm. Winds possibly in excess of 60 miles per hour here just to the north of Corden. Some decent rotation as well.
And
that red's going away
warning
from the radar. New tornado warning here. This red is going away, and that green is heading toward the radar. So that is indicating some rotation. So the National Weather Service expanding, it looks like, the tornado warning into Jefferson County, Indiana. There's your hail just to the northwest of Lovett. Lovett, be prepared for large hail coming down very soon. This rotation is happening right here. Let's put on the debris tracker and just take a look and see if we have anything significant so far. There might just be some leaves blowing around out ahead of some of these strong winds. So here's in Indiana 250 at Highway 3. This is in Jennings County, so North Vernon's right here. And then the worst part of this cell is right here in southwestern Jennings County. So let's put the radar back on here, Alden.
And this tornado warning is for just some more information. Jefferson and Scott County, Indiana, until 6:15 p.m. They mentioned a radar indicated rotation there with that thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located at 10 miles to the southeast of Seymour, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So this is also moving relatively slowly, like a lot of these are. So probably going to be still a pretty long evening for us. Let's put a track on that for you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there's Seymour. So that severe weather threat has passed through Seymour and out of Jackson County. So now we are in Jennings County. The worst of that's a rotation near the Comiskey area heading southeast. When we get rotation in these thunderstorms, they can kind of turn to the right a little bit. Otherwise, they would be moving due east. So right now we have this moving east-southeast towards the Wakefield area at about 6:06 into Midway at around 6:13. Of course, give yourself a few minutes on either side of that. Madison, we've got it heading your direction around 6:20. Milton at around 6:30 into some Kentucky spots now. Brooksburg at around 6:40. Carrollton at 6:50 into Vevey, Indiana. That's outside of our viewing area at about 6:55. So this is a possible tornado threat here, tornado warning for southern Jennings County. This is the very northern tip of Scott County. This threat is staying north of you, Scottsburg, as that's traveling off to the east and southeast. Now we're into northern Jefferson County in Indiana. There's Madison. There's some of that rotation pretty close to Lovett, and that is where we have the possible hail core as well. And there's just south of North Vernon. So
speaking of hail, there's also a new severe thunderstorm warning for Metro Louisville now. Let's get down south there to that one. It's the very western edge, but it's that same storm that we have been tracking since it moved into Orange County. The damage threat on that is considered considerable, again, for large hail up to 2 inches in diameter. So you're getting up there to around the size of a hen egg or possibly even larger. The same cell has also had a history earlier of producing baseball-sized hail, still moving fairly slowly. This severe thunderstorm warning in place until 6:15 p.m.
Yeah, let's zoom in here. So this is very near New Albany, right on your doorstep, also in the Knobs. Here's Georgetown, Indiana, New Salisbury, still near that hail. Here's the appendage that we got to watch for a potential tornado formation near Corden. This is tracking down, excuse me, Interstate 64. And along and south of Highway 150. So here's Interstate 64, here's Highway 150. Very, very heavy torrential rain mixed with hail. Georgetown, Greenville, and New Salisbury. Here's downtown Louisville. So this is tracking off to the east and southeast. So what are we going to get in Louisville? Looks like heavy rain, large damaging hail potential. Damaging wind gusts will be possible. This is a look at that hail core that was near New Salisbury or still is very nearby. That is indicating hail size of over 1 inch and even more in this central core area right there near New Salisbury. That's probably up there around the 1.5 inch size. Possibly, again, golf ball size hail, maybe even tennis ball size hail with the amount of energy and fuel that we have out there for these thunderstorms. Let's put a track on this storm as it moves through Metro here, Alden. And not only that thunderstorm, there's more back behind that. So kind of back-to-back severe thunderstorm warnings. And here's a look at one track. We'll put several tracks on this just so you get an idea. This heading towards Audubon Park at about 6:23, Shively 6:10, 6:15, Okolona 6:30, into Fern Creek at about 6:40, Mount Washington 6:50, into Crenshaw at around 6:50 as well, 6:50 to 7 p.m. and then into the Taylorsville Lake. Talking about Spencer County now after around 7 p.m. These tracks have been pretty much right on. It's about an hour and a half ago. We were talking about this storm getting close to Louisville at about 6 o'clock. Now we're starting to approach 6 o'clock, and here we go with this thunderstorm about to move through and into Metro Louisville. So just a kind of a broader storm track as this moves southeast at around 30 to 35 into Louisville here shortly. Fern Creek at about 6:15, Mount Washington at 6:30, Shelbyville at around 6:50 into the Taylorsville Lake area. Again, as we approach the 7 o'clock hour. Clusters of big, powerful thunderstorms that we're tracking here that have been just north of the river. We've got this severe thunderstorm warning, and this will likely get expanded to include more of Louisville as that gets closer. This is mostly large hail-producing thunderstorm, possibly some isolated damaging wind gusts, frequent lightning strikes. Let's put on the lightning on these two supercells right here, Alden, and usually near a large hail core, you'll get concentrations of these lightning strikes. So it looks like we've got hundreds of lightning strikes in these two cells. This latest one is now about to move out of Orange County, moving into Washington County in Indiana. That's possibly putting down some large hail, obviously some very heavy, possibly, maybe perhaps not bad flooding, but ponding very quickly on the roadways and just blinding rainfall. So not safe to be driving out in this kind of weather. So severe weather threat just over the Sherman-Minton Bridge. It's approaching New Albany right now over the knobs. Heavy rainfall coming down, frequent cloud to ground lightning, and possibly some damaging wind gusts. So this threat extends through Floyd County right here, northern Harrison County. Here is Washington County, Indiana, and you can see it's kind of all traveling down 150 toward Metro Louisville right now. Out a little bit farther west, Alden, when you travel down 64, you run into another strong thunderstorm. This was producing some hail earlier. It no longer has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, but heavy rain. Anytime you hear thunder, just play it safe, stay inside. New severe thunderstorm warning was just put out. It looks like that one is for expanding this storm to the east to include West Clark County around Borden and Pekin. So now we're up Highway 60 into Washington County. Of course,
Clark,
Highway 60
Crawford,
connecting
Floyd, Harrison, Orange, and Washington counties until 8:30. So
Okay.
we have a mess here of stuff going on.
well,
So
till 8:30?
6:30.
6:30, okay. So this is about a half hour with the brand new severe thunderstorm warning. There's just severe thunderstorm warnings on top of each other. So what really matters here is the track that will continue to give you as this is about to move into Louisville. Let's take a look at some of our outside cams, our Metro cam, and see how close that rain is. Now, obviously, we're going to have this. Okay, we're going to check out some cams outside real quick, and then we will check in with meteorologist Reed Yaden and John Humphreys. So this is looking at Hurstbourne Parkway, Interstate 64, and we're looking off to the northwest towards that storm. If we can go ahead and pick a couple more cameras and take a look. We've got our First Savings Bank cam here. This is in Jeffersonville. This is looking off to the north, it looks like, through Jeff. And then we've got our Galt House cam we can take a look at. As it looks over the Ohio River at some of that rain starting to move into New Albany. So that is on the way. And of course, these cameras will probably start rocking and rolling here even more over the next 15 minutes as that cell begins to move into Metro Louisville. And now check up with our meteorologist, Reed Yaden. And Reed, where are you heading now?
Okay, Ben, we are in Georgetown now. Going to head into New Albany and then come on into Louisville. We're riding with this storm. Let's go to our outdoor cam now. The rain you're talking about is here. We've had just a little bit of hail, nothing really worth mentioning. Winds are not really anything significant at this point right now, but it is very heavy rain. As you can see, visibilities get reduced in a hurry on you. And that's the situation as we approach New Albany. I do have a report passed on to me from Shirlene Shanklin on our desk in the newsroom that they're reporting 1,774 power outages up in Orange County, Indiana. That includes Paoli and French Lick. They've really been battered up there, particularly with hail, it sounds like. She checked. They have no reports of damage at this particular point, but over 1,700 power outages up there. So power outage or people without power quickly becoming a problem up in Orange County, Indiana. We'll continue on into Metro Louisville. We're in Metro right now, but we'll continue on across the Sherman-Minton Bridge here shortly, and we'll keep you updated.
Thank you, Reed. Yeah, it looks like it could be a long night for us. Metro right now is starting to see that threat very close, moving through Floyd County. So we've got a report of power outages. How do you get power outages? Could be from lightning strikes, but more likely from damaging wind gusts. Also, we've been talking about the potential of large and damaging hail. This storm is bearing down on Metro Louisville now. We've been seeing the skies getting darker and darker with our Metro cams, of course, with our live report with Reed Yaden. There has been some rotation that we need to keep an eye on, but this has been mainly hail, frequent lightning, and some isolated damaging wind gusts. So this is one supercell right here. This one is more kind of clustery looking. It is tracking off to the east and southeast. Might clip parts, actually probably heading right through western Clark County. And as you can see, heading towards Pekin right now. So Pekin, just stay in your place of shelter. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, not tornado warnings, but in a flash, they can start to get some spin, some rotation. You just got to watch these things very closely. They can misbehave rapidly with the ingredients that we have out there. The very hot weather is producing a bunch of unstable air. That's what makes these storms grow. Very powerful, but we also have some jet stream energy nearby that's helping us out. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning that includes Valley Station, PRP, up Dixie Highway, Shively, west into Louisville, Portland. Heavy rain moving into downtown now. And we got a ways to go. So this is miles of heavy rain that's going to be moving through Louisville. So ponding of water, it's not going to be safe to drive out there. Blinding torrential rainfall, just a slew of different hazards that we have across the area that we need to watch out for. Let's back out a little bit. So big thunderstorms, and we have this tornado warning that continues as well. We don't want to forget about this here in southern Jennings County. The threat is south of you in North Vernon. Thankfully in Seymour, that threat has moved out of your area too. So we still see some rotation. There is a tornado warning just in case. It is radar indicated. This has not been spotted on the ground. But here's a look at 250 and 7 where they come together in Jefferson County, Indiana. Hardy Lake, just to the east of I-65, just to give you some bearing points here. So this is going to be moving toward Madison and Hanover over the next 15 minutes. So let's go do another track on this storm, Alden, as it is tracking southeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that's going to put it over the Ohio River a little bit after, I'd say 6:15 to 6:30, and moving it into parts of Trimble and Carroll counties in Kentucky. Latest track here has it towards Wakefield at 6:07, Neville Grove at 6:11, Anderson Elementary at 6:22, into the Madison area 6:20 to 6:25. Milton at 6:25, so the Milton-Madison Bridge area, Brooksburg at 6:35, Carrollton 6:45, and Ghent at about 6:52. So that is the, yeah.
To remind folks that if you do see some of that very large hail coming at, falling in your yard, A, stay safe, but B, if you are able to get a photo of that, please send them to us so we can get some ground confirmation of what's happening out there. Text those photos to 502-582-7290. Text those photos to us. You can also do it through the WHAS 11 app. Also worth mentioning that in the event that you lose power, so far we haven't seen too many power outages, thankfully, but if you do lose power, we are streaming live on Facebook and live on YouTube. You can also go to WHAS11.com. In addition to downloading our free WHAS 11 app, you can watch us streaming there as well, just in case you do lose power.
All right, thank you, Alden. Yeah, we'd love to see your reports when it's safe to do so. We call that the ground truth, that we match up with the radar. We will pass those reports to the National Weather Service as well, and just giving us an idea of what's really happening on the ground. We thank you for your help and participation with that. Again, when it's safe to do so, when that storm has moved out of your area and when the warning is over. So we have one kind of small tornado warning here in Jefferson County, Indiana. Just want to continue to seek shelter until that's over with. Hopefully this will weaken as it gets closer to Hanover and Madison, but there's still a lot of juice in the atmosphere, still a lot of those severe weather ingredients that aren't going to let these storms fade away really anytime soon. Now the storms have cleared several other areas off to the north, so it looks like we're in a lot better shape around Bedford, Indiana, Seymour, and Paoli, with the storms now southeast of your area. So you're probably in good shape for the rest of today. The tornado watch will be canceled sooner than it goes until for those areas off to the north, but tornado watch continues until 11 p.m. Heavy rain starting to move into downtown Louisville, and right behind the heavy rainfall, still the potential of some hail. That is near Georgetown and Floyd's Knobs, New Albany, heavy rainfall. Still maybe a little bit of rotation here near Lanesville. And then we have very heavy rainfall that continues in New Salisbury and Greenville. Just some really, really heavy rainmakers. Wind threat exists here near Lanesville. That blue color usually indicates winds in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And as that continues to the east-southeast, that wind threat will be moving toward Valley Station, PRP, and Shively. If you have a warning, you want to be inside, and it's best to just be in your safe place, your safest place of your home, lowest level, away from the doors and the windows until that warning is no longer there. And of course, sometimes the threat moves out sooner than the warning expired. It will let you know when it's safe to do so as well. So just a big glob of heavy rainfall here. And within this whole area, cloud to ground lightning strikes, hundreds of them coming down one after another, and the potential for some hail. Heavy rain now right over Metro Louisville down to the Watterson, Shively, Germantown, the Highlands starting to get some of this rainfall coming down heavier around 264 on the west end of Louisville down to Shively and getting closer to PRP down Dixie Highway as well. And then you can see the heavy rain extending out towards Lanesville into Harrison County and Floyd County, dealing with the torrential raindrops as well around Floyd's Knobs and over to Georgetown. Let's expand out just a little bit, and then we'll look toward the Borden, Indiana, Pekin, where this thunderstorm is also tracking east. Looks like we're building up some more hail just to the south of Salem. That's going to be tracking toward Pekin, down 135 here between Palmyra near Fredericksburg, heading towards the Borden, Indiana area, down the Borden Valley. Here's Starlight near Hubers. Going to be seeing that heavy rain, possibly some hail heading your direction as well. Farther out to the west, Marengo into parts of Orange County, we have the back edge of that thunderstorm. And then more isolated storms developing to the south of 64, right over the center sections of Perry County, Indiana. So eventually, we're going to see the activity move out of southern Indiana, now moving into downtown Louisville, and this is going to become a more Kentucky thing than Indiana situation over the next hour or so. So expanding out our view, let's do a loop of our entire viewing area, and just to give you an idea of what we're tracking. So this is the main line. This is the main event that we're going to have for tonight. So it looks like we're in a lot better shape around Seymour, Brownstown, Bedford, Paoli, Jasper. It looks like we're about in the clear as far as severe weather for the rest of this evening. Severe weather threat starting to bump up to the Ohio River into Metro Louisville. Now we've got a couple of different supercells we're tracking very closely up at near Madison. We still have this tornado warning area just to the west, northwest of you in around the Madison and Hanover area there in Jefferson County. So this is tracking southeast about 30, 35 miles per hour. There is some hail, possibly golf ball size. This is just to the southwest of DuPont, tracking that hail core heading towards Wakefield at 610, Neville Grove at 613, Anderson Elementary School at around 624, 625, Madison and Milton between 625 and 630, into Bedford, Kentucky at 640. So we're crossing the river into Carrollton, 645, and into the Campbellsburg, Kentucky area at about 655. So this storm possibly impacting parts of Trimble and Carroll counties in Kentucky, not too far off. So heads up there for now our Kentucky communities. Back down to Louisville. Let's take a look at the cams outside where we should be starting to see some of that heavy rainfall, heavy rain coming in downtown now. There could be some occasional microbursts. We haven't talked about that. That's when kind of part of the storm can collapse. You get some downdrafts and possibly winds in excess of 60 miles per hour can cause power outages and possibly some tree damage. We've heard of over 1,000 power outages in Orange County up around French Lick and Paoli from the thunderstorms that moved through earlier. This is looking from U of L to the north toward downtown here with our U of L Health Camera Network with that heavy rainfall now. New severe thunderstorm warning. I'm guessing that will include more of Metro Louisville and will probably continue for the next half hour. So back over to Max HD radar. This is what we're looking at right now with the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Metro Louisville. Alden, you see where that it may have not popped up just yet, where that warning is?
It'll be for Crawford, Floyd, and Harrison.
Okay, so
I think it's a tiny one there, probably overlaid with another one.
Gotcha. Okay, our meteorologist Reed Yaden with our storm chaser John Humphreys out live right now. Reed, what are you tracking now?
Okay, we were coming through New Albany right as you were talking about heavy rain there. We were coming down 64. We've crossed the Sherman-Minton now. We're tracking on the western tip of the 264, and we are just passing Virginia and Dumenial, heading on into Shively. It looks to us like there's a couple of cells that have merged. That can be good or bad, depending, but we agree it looks like there's some activity heading down towards Shively and PRP, and that's the area we're tracking. As you can see from the road cam, we're in some heavy rain at the present time. Not a lot of wind. We had just a minimal amount of hail, very small, fine hail, as we came down 64 out of Lanesville toward New Albany. That's the latest. We'll talk to you when we get down in the Shively area, going out Dixie Highway.
Thank you, Reed. Yeah, definitely some heavy rain. You probably don't want to travel if you don't have to, but we thank Reed for being out there in it and doing his best to stay safe out there chasing some of these supercells. You can see that deep red color. This is the rainfall rates here, Alden. We're probably talking with this juicy atmosphere that we have, probably around 1-2 inches per hour, or maybe even a little bit higher than that. So very heavy torrential rainfall causing ponding of water on the roadways. Right now, basically within the Waterson, but starting to move a little closer to Okolona now with that heavy rainfall. The hail not as impressive as it was, but still the potential maybe some dime or nickel-sized hail out of this is around the Georgetown area. Some of that hail heading close to Shively and PRP, possibly clipping parts of downtown in New Albany too. So as Alden also mentioned, we just have different layers of severe thunderstorms warnings. So we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes northern Bullitt, basically the entire portion of Metro Louisville and Jefferson County, Kentucky, with this thunderstorm. Not only this thunderstorm, but there's more up the way too. Let's go ahead and back up the view just a touch here, Alden, just to give you an idea of what we're in for over Louisville. This big cluster right here. So we've got this thunderstorm and this one right behind it. Both could be producing some damaging wind gusts, some large hail. There's this tornado warning here near Madison. So we're going to get to all of this. Let's put a track on that new severe thunderstorm warning to take it through Louisville. That's going to be moving southeast and possibly getting into portions of Taylorsville, Shelbyville. Early heads up for you guys. It's probably about a half hour out for you. But here's the latest track heading into the Ottoman Park area at about 6:10 to 6:15. So just a few minutes, if not, or basically right now, into Buchel at about 6:18, Fern Creek 6:25, Fisherville at 6:35, Crenshaw 6:40 to 6:45, into the Taylorsville Lake areas just before 7 p.m., and then Harrisonville, Kentucky at around 6:15. Let's do a broader track as well, because this is a pretty big thunderstorm. As Reed mentioned, kind of congealing into just one big monster storm, really. You can see the rain is kind of connected here, but two big areas of heavy rain, possibly some hail. This thunderstorm on the tail end of that last one, heading through Palmyra. It's been a busy day in Washington County with some heavy rainfall there. I'm definitely going to keep a lot of areas out of drought. That's kind of the one positive here, as a lot of the farm fields and yards and gardens are getting some heavy rainfall. So the latest track heading toward Taylorsville, again, just before 7 p.m., Shelbyville at around 6:45, Harrisonville at around 7 p.m., and then eventually heading toward Frankfort. Madison, Indiana, heads up, you've got the heavy rain about to move into your direction. It looks like this storm, the worst part of it's about to move out of the tornado warned area. It didn't look like this had really great rotation in the first place, but there is still a tornado warning on it. There is still some green and red next to each other. There is some broad rotation, but it doesn't look real threatening at this time. But nonetheless, some damaging winds will be possible. And it looks like that possible rotation is heading towards the Hanover and Madison area very shortly. And then you have hail too. That is indicating possibly golf ball size hail there in the northwestern section of Jefferson County, Indiana. So here is Scottsburg. It looks like that tornado warning is is to the threat of it is now east of Crothersville, and new severe thunderstorm warning here coming out. That is going to include Madison and Hanover. So it looks like we're going to expire the tornado warning, and the severe thunderstorm warning is going to take over. A lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings have some extra information that just say a tornado is possible. We call it a tag. And so at any point in time, we could have a little spin up EF0, EF1 tornado. Definitely not out of the realm of possibilities here for us. Very heavy rain coming down. Alden, if you want to do a slice right through the middle of this, we'll dissect it. And these things have been growing very tall, 40, 50,000 feet, and not seeing any significant hail right over Louisville right now. But these storm tops, again, going very tall. Once you get above about 25,000 feet, that's usually when you can produce lightning strikes with the electricity. And you can see they're well above 20 to 25,000 feet. So we're putting down some frequent lightning strikes, cloud to ground lightning strikes. Anytime you hear that thunder, just want to head inside and trust the nature's alert, giving you that early heads up as well. So heavy rainfall. There's possibly a little bit of a hail that's near Shively right now as we go back into the flatter version of the map. We're possibly seeing some maybe some dime size hail near Shively in the west end of Louisville over toward New Albany. It looks like a little bit of hail here as well, just to the south of Floyd's Knobs. And it looks like it's staying just to the north of Elizabeth and the casino. So far, PRP Valley Station, you're just to the south of the heaviest, but still stay alert because there's another severe thunderstorm warning off to your northwest that's moving into northern Harrison County. So heavy rain coming down over Louisville. We can take another look outside at some of our cams in different directions, start to lose our visibility a little bit as we look at our downtown metro cam. This is looking here from the hospitals, our Hughes and Coleman cam, part of our U of L Health Camera Network, just showing us some of that heavy rain coming down now over Louisville with a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that covers most of metro Louisville with the potential of some damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, maybe some hail as well. Sometimes these storms pulse up, they pulse down a little bit, and so we just have to watch them as they kind of cycle. And sometimes you never know if we get some rotation very rapidly, and we might end up with a tornado warning as well. Live view at some of the reduced visibility here from looking at our Bachman Auto Group cam. This is looking from on top of the Galt House toward New Albany and toward the Falls of the Ohio. So this is showing us in the the upper left corner of your screen, a new severe thunderstorm warning that is out. So our current temperature 86. It's been very warm, around 85 to 90. Of course, we're going to cool down rapidly with this heavy rain moving through Louisville right now. Just kind of scanning the sky, looking over the Yum Center and Interstate 64.
Kentucky. This does include Metro Louisville, part of it. Specifically, this is a tornado warning for Floyd, Harrison counties, and Indiana, Jefferson County, Kentucky. So the west end of Metro Louisville, including Shively and just outside of PRP. This is until 6:45 p.m., moving to the southeast at 40 miles per hour. And it's particularly for this cell back here that's near New Salisbury. So we'll throw on our velocity and check that out. It's this area near Cordon to the northwest of Cordon. So go ahead and be seeking those tornado safe spots right now, the lowest level, most interior room of whatever building you're in, away from those outside walls and window. But
we're just talking about these storms cycling and pulsing up and pulsing down. This one is strengthening. This is right near DePaul. This is Corded, New Salisbury. So we're getting some tighter circulation right here. You can kind of see that flow going into the supercell. Anything in blue indicates the wind speeds in excess of 50 or 60 miles per hour. So this is tracking down basically Interstate 64 and giving you the early heads up here in Metro Louisville, this possible rotating thunderstorm. This is radar indicated tornado warning. We don't have a report of a tornado on the ground at this time, but still treat it like there is a tornado on the ground. Get your family to your safe place. Lowest level of your home, as Alden was mentioning, away from the doors and the windows. Here's the latest track on that rotating thunderstorm, possibly producing a tornado heading towards Lanesville in just a few minutes at around 6:25 to 6:30, near the casino at around 6:35, Shively at 6:40, Iroquois Park at 6:45. into Fairdale at about 650, Okolona at around 650 to 655, into the Brooks area. So we're talking Bullitt County at around 655, and Fern Creek at about 7 o'clock. So right now the threat is on top of Louisville. We're getting the heavy rainfall, maybe a little hail, lots of lightning strikes as well. Let's turn on the lightning here just to give you an idea too. There are hundreds of lightning strikes in these two supercells. This is putting down some very heavy rainfall, some wind gusts as well. And you can see the lightning strikes. These are all individual lightning strikes that are touching the ground. 567 lightning strikes in this view alone here over the last 30 minutes. This is the biggest storm of concern right now. There's some rotation right here. Let's put on our debris product and see if we have. So we do not have a debris ball signature at this time. That's good. We don't want to see that. But if you are in the New Salisbury area, near Corydon, Lanesville, Georgetown, New Albany, Floyd County, stay inside, seek shelter. We do have a tornado warning. It's this area right here if you look closely. Let's go ahead and just put on the warning, Alden. So that stretches over the river to include Shively, PRP right on the edge. Elizabethtown, so again, we're talking out down here towards the casino. Lanesville, this is all the area that's under the tornado warning. Corydon, Georgetown, New Salisbury, all be seeking shelter here. East Central Harrison County, Southern Floyd, and now into parts of Metro Louisville under that tornado warning. We'll see if this gets expanded here, if it continues, but we do have some rotation right now moving very near Interstate 64. Let's go ahead and put that reflectivity back on. There you can see the rotation that we have, this little notch right there, and the let's go ahead and go into velocity mode. So this is a heavy rainmaker right on top of us, but this is the wind damage threat that is near the Corydon area. So again, seek shelter at this time, away from the doors and the windows, lowest level of your home. Take action now. This is a tornado warning that includes Corydon, Lanesville, East Central Harrison County, Southern Floyd, and into parts of Louisville, southwestern sections of Louisville.
We probably also have some pretty gusty winds there near Shively right now, just looking at that, because we have that kind of a core of red there in the middle. As we have seen here before, there are a lot of times where we can get a brief spin down tornado in between radar scans. So there's been nothing that's been confirmed, nothing that's been observed. These are all only radar indicated, but you'll still want to go ahead and take those safety precautions right now. So near Shively, in the direction towards Churchill down, I believe we'll have some very gusty winds. The main area that we're keeping an eye on is near Corydon at the moment for that potential tornado development there. We're looking at the rotation there just over Corydon. Also, I want to take a quick look outside because it is pouring rain outside right now. You can't even really see much from our Galt House camera, but you can also definitely see how that wind has picked up quite a bit with that camera there shaking around in the breeze. Switching to our hospital curve camera, this one also showing some very heavy rain. Can't see too well with that one either, and really can't see too much of the skyline. The hail potential with this is still going to be up to around that ping pong ball size, although these storms do not appear to be quite as big of the hail producers as they once were about an hour or so ago. And if we look a little bit further to the east, this is our Midway University camera in Hurstbourne. You can see all of those lightning flashes that are occurring. Ben was just mentioning over 560 lightning strikes from cloud to the ground. So these are very electrically charged storms. These are very extremely efficient rainmakers with a ton of rain with them. We could see some localized areas of flooding with this. But we'll go back to radar now and look at that heavy downpour over Metro Louisville, but the main area of concern is that potential area of rotation between New Salisbury and Corydon, kind of along I-64 as that continues to push down to the southeast. Also seeing some potentially gusty winds there near the Shively area, making its way toward 31 West and towards the Churchill down Louisville International Airport region. So just go ahead and be inside, taking those tornado safety precautions. That tornado warning itself only includes the extreme western part of Metro Louisville, but it does include Lanesville, New Middletown, Corydon, kind of right there on the edge of Georgetown, Indiana, also for Elizabeth, Indiana too. So just really impressive been seeing these two storms just kind of following each other's path and just producing such extreme heavy rainfall. Thankfully, we have not seen any signs of potential debris with that tornado signature, but we are seeing, again, that torrential rain, some gusty winds, and probably some good-sized hail with this cell as well.
Yeah, a lot of different impacts, Alden, as you mentioned, and different threats with the ingredients that we have for these storms. That hot air is feeding right into this thunderstorm. So this is the inflow here, and this is the rotation. Red's going away from the radar, green toward the radar. Some of the blue colors indicating wind speeds in excess of around 50, 60 miles per hour. That is rotation. This is radar indicated. We don't have a report of a tornado on the ground, but a tornado warning has been issued for this area around Lanesville, New Middletown, Corda, New Salisbury, just to the south of Georgetown, just south of New Albany, and then very close to PRP, Valley Station, and Shively, and near Elizabeth, Indiana as well. So starting to see this rotation very near Corden, right over the top of Interstate 64, near the Corden exit. Here's just kind of an image over the last few minutes of some of those strong winds with back-to-back supercells that have been traveling through Harrison, Floyd, and now into Metro Louisville. Let's back up and look at the radar loop over the last hour for the entire viewing area. So we're seeing things looking a lot better for English and Paoli, Bedford, Seymour. The severe weather threat now off to the southeast of you. But we are seeing that threat right on top of Louisville now with this one lone tornado warning. I want to mention that western Jefferson County and southern Jennings County in Indiana, that tornado warning has expired, but there is a severe thunderstorm warning for Madison, Indiana. Heavy torrential rain coming down over most of Louisville right now, downtown to the Watterson to the Snyder, and then next up, that heavy rain's coming toward you around Valley Station and the Shively. Still seeing some of this spin near Corden. Latest track has this heading towards Shively at about 640, Audubon Park at around 650, into Okolona at around 650, 655. Fern Creek, Mount Washington, Crenshaw, 7 to around 7:15. So this is going to be moving through Metro Louisville over the next half hour, then could be impacting parts of northern Bullitt, Spencer, and Shelby counties in about a half hour to an hour. So over the next hour or so, it's going to be very busy around Louisville, suburbs, and surrounding communities. And talking about all those different threats, heavy rain, blinding rain, ponding of water on the roadways, maybe some localized flash flooding, cloud to ground lightning strikes, hundreds of lightning strikes out there. We have damaging wind gusts, possibly in excess of 60, 70 miles per hour. Large, possibly damaging hail. We've had hail reports bigger than golf ball size hail, possibly tennis ball, baseball size hail. And then there's also the threat of tornadoes. So just a slew of hazards with these supercell, very powerful, potent thunderstorms.
Ben, let's get a quick check on some of the power outages that they have for us. We also have some viewer photos of hail here, but in Orange County, Indiana, which really took the brunt of a lot of this earlier, just over 5,000 power outages. Crawford County, Indiana, a little around 2,200, and in Washington County, Indiana, just under 1,500 power outages right now. As we also take a look now at some viewer photos of hail from around the area, this is probably about golf ball size, so this is what you can look towards as it moves into your area. Earlier, there were some reports near Paoli and French Lick of a golf ball sized hail, but what we're seeing here is hail around the size of probably quarters up to about golf ball, but thankfully we're not seeing it much in the way of that baseball sized hail. But you can see it has taken down some leaves, and when the hail is about this size, it's not necessarily going to cause damage, but you're definitely going to hear it, and it's definitely going to be very loud. There's some penny sized hail that we had earlier from across the area. So if you want to send us these photos, of course you need to stay safe first when it's acceptable for you to, but 502-582-7290 to send us those storm reports. As we also look at Max HD radar right now, extremely heavy rain falling over Metro Louisville at the moment. We still have that tornado warning back toward Corden. I don't really see too much in the way of rotation there, which is the good news. They've trimmed down that tornado warning just a little bit. Meteorologist Colleen Peterson just texted me and reporting hail in the Highlands area. So we are seeing that hail falling in Metro Louisville at the moment. And we can put on our hail tracker too. So the hail tracker is a little bit behind radar. It takes a bit longer for it to update, but there is hail now being reported in the St. Matthews and Highlands area. Also seeing some fairly large hail hail possibly in northern Harrison County, north of I-64 near New Salisbury, headed towards Georgetown, Lanesville. That is also continuing on a track into Metro Louisville at this moment, Ben.
Yeah, we still have that tornado warning that does include that rotation near the Lanesville area. So it looks like the worst of it just to the north and northeast of Corden. We just need to watch that spot right there, that little appendage. That is some rotation that is along Interstate 64. It's tracking to the east and southeast at about 30-35 miles per hour. So stay in your place of shelter. This red area right here does show us that tornado warned area. So Lanesville, very close to heading your direction. It looks like just staying to the north of New Middletown, over towards Caesars, the casino. It looks like that is going to be very close to some of that rotation as well. And then heading over towards Shively, PRP, Valley Station. You're going to have to watch out for some of the potential damaging wind gusts.
Ben, they just canceled that tornado warning.
All right, good to see. The tornado warning has been canceled with some of that rotation just kind of broadening out, but still just need to watch it. We've talked about this a bunch. These things cycle up and down and can pulse up very quickly, and the rotation can come back.
I just got another text from our GMK anchor, Eric King. He's reporting some very heavy hail. Not large hail, only around pebble size, so probably about pea to nickel size in Germantown and in the Snitchelberg area, but he says it's coming down really, really heavily. So a lot of the reds that we see here on radar over Metro Louisville right now is actually probably hail making its way to the ground right now. And I'm going to pass on these storm reports to the Weather Service, who's also saying that there will be a new warning coming out for Metro Louisville with the wind signature increasing. Severe thunderstorm warning is what they're going to be putting out for that one. So we are potentially starting to see a new wind threat starting to push through the metro, in addition to that extremely heavy rain and hail.
It's pretty crazy to see these two supercells just back to back, and they look similar. You've got the heavy rain, the hail core, a bunch of lightning happening. Go ahead and put the lightning on too, if you don't mind, Alden. And then you've got some rotation that we're watching for near Valley Station. There's the Snyder, there's Dixie Highway, there's the clusters of lightning strikes, and then right on the heels of this supercell is this supercell over Floyd and Harrison counties, right over Interstate 64. That is a rough ride right now with the hail, the heavy rain, the lightning strikes, and there's still a little rotation. Just got to watch that. A lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings are also going to say tornado possible, which means we got to watch the rotation in these thunderstorms. So we're going to fluctuate back and forth between looking at your radar product, the velocity, and the hail to inspect inside these thunderstorms. So the hail growing possibly in size with this supercell in Floyd in northern Harrison County. Where is it going? It's going over the river into possibly downtown over much of Metro Louisville. So we're going to keep this severe thunderstorm warning for Louisville probably for quite some time over the next half hour or so. Then we're going to see that threat move downstream. That's going to be heading down 64 towards Shelbyville, towards Taylorsville, Mount Washington, other parts of Bullitt County and other parts of Metro Louisville over the next half hour. What do you want to do? You want to stay inside anytime there's a severe thunderstorm warning. If you want to be real safe, head down to the lowest level of your home. Alden, let's go ahead and bring up some more information, some safety tips, some reminders here of what to do, where to go when there is a tornado issued. Thankfully, right now, we do not have a tornado warning. That has been canceled, but you definitely want to find a sturdy shelter away from the windows, preferably your basement, and you're wanting as many walls between you and the outside away from the windows. You want to get out of a mobile home. You want to have that plan ahead of time to find a sturdier shelter. You can grab your severe weather safety kit, first aid, flashlight, candles, charged cell phones, pillows, blankets, anything that can help you block the debris. So again, if we do get another tornado warning, just some reminders, and we do have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings, but thankfully at the moment, we do not have a tornado warning at this time. So this is a look here at some of the heavy rainfall coming down right over 65 and Muhammad Ali. Traffic moving, but definitely having to slow down through this heavy rainfall that we have across the area. Back to Max HD radar, severe thunderstorm warning ongoing for downtown Louisville, Metro Louisville, suburbs, and surrounding areas. This storm is moving to the east and southeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we've got probably about a half hour, 45 minutes to deal with this severe thunderstorm warning in Louisville right now. And then we're going to see the severe weather threat pass after that, thankfully. Let's get back to radar here. There's the heavy rain over Louisville right now. There's the hail that it still looks pretty healthy here, Alden, right over Interstate 64. This is right over the knobs right now. So that is possibly damaging hail that is now right about here. So as Alden mentioned, this data is just a little bit old. So we're talking about this moving towards Portland, New Albany, Floyd's Knobs, over 111. And so heavy, large hail coming down near Georgetown, Lanesville, and it's moving off to the east and southeast. Got to watch out near the hail cores. Usually on the south end of the hail core, there can be some rotation. Can't rule out quick spin up EF0, EF1 tornado in a situation like this. We just have a very ripe atmosphere out there. It is hot, it's humid, that is feeding these thunderstorms. And I'd say the damaging wind field that we're seeing is expanding and getting larger around Lanesville. A pretty good bet we're going to get some power outages with this. This is southern Floyd County. So this is downtown Louisville right here, Portland to Shively, out west of 264, right over the river is where we have potentially damaging winds. This is showing 65-mile-per-hour winds. And the thing is, we're very close to the radar, so we're getting a lot closer to the ground with the radar beam. So we're starting to see the potential of damaging winds increasing. So you see the hail grow. That's typically when we see the wind threat grow, and really all the different hazards. Hail very closely correlated to a strengthening updraft in the supercell. Those winds going up possibly over 100 miles per hour to hold that large hail aloft. And then once that hail drops, again, it can cause damage to cars, homes, and possibly just be unsafe for you as well. So just stay inside. Let's take a look at some video of some of the hail outside of our WHS 11 studios. So that looks like some small kind of dime-sized hail that was from the previous thunderstorm, but I'm seeing bigger hail just over the river that's possibly on the way to impact more parts of Louisville. So we've got all those threats we're talking about. You can see the heavy rain pouring there in our parking lot with the hail, with the lightning strikes, and then potentially isolated tornadoes as well. This hail core showing anywhere from about 1 to 2 inch size hail. That is up around golf ball size hail, quarter size hail, very strong supercell thunderstorm. Then you can see the motion of that hail core that's heading to the southeast. So this is one of our biggest issues right now, is that large hail and possibly some damaging wind gusts as well. Back to reflectivity. So we've got one supercell that's, I would say, a little bit of a weakening trend. This is just a very heavy rainmaker. This is where we got the small hail from. That is all the way from 71 down past the Waterson, just north of the Brooks exit there. And then you got a slight break downtown between that supercell and then the next one that's actually stronger. So severe thunderstorm warning out for this one that's going to be moving over the river into downtown here in just a couple of minutes. You want to stay inside and away from the doors and the windows with a supercell like that. Let's check out
I also see here, Ben, looking at this, the loop of the last hour, they're starting to merge together and come together too, which could potentially really strengthen this. But it's really interesting actually seeing how Metro Louisville is pretty much the only target here. We have the one cell move through. We have the second one that's starting to move through right now. And I am concerned about what does still appear to be a growing hail core about to move into Metro Louisville. So it just passed through Georgetown. It's Georgetown. It's south of Floyd's Knobs. It's kind of just to the east there of Lanesville along State Road 62 and State Road 11 in in southern Indiana there in Floyd County. So if you live in the West End, if you're near Shively, if you're near the Portland neighborhoods, the California neighborhoods, there is a good possibility you're about to see some very large hail. So we've already had quite a bit of hail. Haley Minogue texted me not too long ago as well, reporting hail around dime-sized hail near I-71 and Zorn. That was from this first cell down here that's almost become stationary now. But as it's beginning to merge with that other storm moving out of southern Indiana, we could see that hail potential grow again. So right now we're looking at a heavy rain threat, a possible flash flooding threat, but I would say hail and gusty winds are our largest concerns at the moment. I'll put on that hail tracker again. You can see that it's just very, very large hail right along I-64 there, moving toward Portland, Shively, and toward the downtown Louisville area. We can take a quick look outside too to see what we have. This is in Jeffersonville at the moment, trying to look towards the area of where some of that hail is coming. Right now, we only see some very heavy rain. Looking at our downtown camera on top of Hospital Curve, still seeing just some heavy rain excuse me, at the moment, still some frequent lightning, but you're also going to notice a little bit of sunshine there and how much our temperatures have dropped. We were at 86 degrees, now we're at 74, so it's cooled off quite a bit, but there's still a lot of energy in the atmosphere for this storm to work with.
Yeah, no doubt. And of equal concern, I think, is the wind damage threat. So let's get back to our velocity and check out the wind speeds of the raindrops here. So the radar here down towards Fort Knox, very close to the ground. So these winds are very close to the surface, and these are possibly damaging wind gusts, nearly 70 miles per hour. We know after a very windy winter and springtime, we've seen this before. You get in these blue colors right here. That indicates those damaging wind gusts that are overspreading. This damaging wind field has been expanding with the growing hail. So they just go hand in hand here. Frequent cloud to ground lightning, possibly ponding of water on the ground, damaging hail, damaging winds. So right over southern Floyd County. Here's Interstate 64, Lanesville right in the middle of it, the worst of it just to the east of Corden right now. And this is tracking to the southeast. So next up, that damaging wind threat, possibly mainly straight line winds in excess of 60 to 70 mile per hour, heading over the Ohio River to Shively, to PRP, possibly clipping Valley Station. It'll be very close. Possibly moving right over the airport, downtown Louisville. So much of Metro Louisville possibly impacted by those severe winds, which will, in high likelihood will produce some power outages for Louisville too. Those power outage reports usually take, I don't know, about 15 minutes, half hour to get them into the system. So we're likely going to get quite a bit of power outage reports from around the Georgetown and Lanesville areas, parts of Floyd and Harrison County. Been very busy there.
The National Weather Service is also updating the text for this severe thunderstorm warning for Metro Louisville for hail up to 2 inches in diameter, as we are seeing there right behind you, and a 70 mile per hour wind gust. So they're seeing the same thing we are, which is that the storm is growing. The upper level winds are starting to get a little bit stronger, probably making it down to the surface. And the hail in this storm is also continuing to grow. So we're possibly going to see some hail damage across portions of Metro Louisville here within the next 30 minutes.
And go ahead and click on this area right here. We'll query and see here just to basically right over Georgetown, Lanesville area. There's Interstate 64. That's showing over 2-inch hail. So as Alden mentioned, golf ball, tennis ball size hail potentially. That is a very, very healthy hail core right there. On anywhere near a hail core 2, when they come down, it can bring down some damaging wind gusts. We are seeing some very strong winds. This is a dangerous thunderstorm. You want to stay inside with this severe thunderstorm warning. Here's a track where that hail core is heading. If it stays healthy, it's going to be heading towards Shively here in just a couple of minutes. Iroquois Park at 6:47. We've got the airport there on and around 6:51. Okolona 6:55. Hillview at 7. Around 7:02 into Fern Creek, Mount Washington 7:10, in the Crenshaw area at about 7:15. So that's eventually going to move it out of the metro area at about 7:15. Then it's going to slide into parts of possibly Bullitt and Spencer counties, and maybe even into Shelby County. Let's go back and look at our viewing area radar. We do have still some other thunderstorms out there, but we will get right back to downtown here in just a second. So there's another severe thunderstorm warning up here around Madison, Indiana. That had a tornado warning on it earlier, but things are soon going to be settling down over much of southern Indiana. This is likely putting down some hail, some gusty winds around the Carrollton area in Carroll County. That won't last long as it cruises right through Carroll County over the next 15-20 minutes. Okay, back down to the southwest. It looks like, Alden, the storms that we had out west earlier, if we can do a loop, they have collapsed and everything's concentrated on this one big thunderstorm. So these were strong thunderstorms right here over the Ohio River into Perry County. Those have fallen apart, and it looks like all the energy is coming together again over Floyd and Jefferson County. And Jefferson County, Kentucky, of course, Metro Louisville. Hail looks like it's still very large here just to the south of downtown New Albany and very near the knobs. That is the hail core, very close to the ground, that purple color right there, and the storm tops going up to about 40,000 feet. Obviously, it's just a very powerful supercell thunderstorm right on top of Louisville and also the surrounding communities. Up to the north, not severe, but you've got heavy rainfall coming down over parts of other areas in southern Indiana. Okolona looks like we still have some hail there. Strong thunderstorm, but not severe over Crothersville. And then back down here, heavy rain over Sellersburg into parts of Jeff and New Albany and Clarksville. Downtown Louisville, very heavy rainfall. So just, again, just a lot of different hazards here. There is some rotation. Let's get back to the winds and we'll track where that strong wind threat's going to be heading. It looks like it's now over the Ohio River. So we've got an update here with our velocity radar wind speeds, and it looks like some damaging wind gusts are right on top of Shively right now and heading towards the Watterson. From southern Floyd County in Indiana. So here's the casino, and those strong damaging winds in excess of 65 miles per hour are heading towards Shively right now and crossing over Dixie Highway within just a few minutes. So stay inside, stay in your safe place here in Louisville. Let's go out and check with our storm chasers. So Reed Yaden and John Humphreys out there in the storm now. Reed?
Okay, there is the storm you're talking about, Ben. Winds are picking up. We're here in Shively, just south of Shively along Dixie Highway. There you see the rolling clouds. Nothing out of it yet. In fact, we're not getting a bit of rain here at the moment. And everything is winds picking up 25, 30 miles an hour, but no active weather here at the moment. But it certainly will be. It's a very ominous looking cloud, but this is the cell that you guys have been watching. You could see the inflow boundary on that thing. Temperatures have dropped here about 10 to 15 degrees in the last 15 minutes. It was warm, very warm, moist air just a few minutes ago. Now it is a much cooler air. It has changed directions as this giant storm is right on us. Wind gusts picking up now, perhaps 35 miles an hour or so. There you see the trees whipping around. So far, no precipitation coming out of it. We're looking for anything that might drop out of these clouds. Not seeing it yet, but if you're in Shively, PRP, Valley Station, it is showtime. You can see what's happening here. Rain, light rain just beginning. We're about 3 miles just to the south of the Interstate 264. And there's what's going on. We move a little bit here, give you a little better view of what's happening. We also had a report that authorities over in Corydon are checking for a possible tornado damage there. They have not found anything yet, but nevertheless they are checking as that system moves through there. So that's what we have for you. There you are, getting some lightning out of this now, and really winds are picking up. The trees located in just along the railroad tracks here really beginning to whip around. So looks like conditions are going to deteriorate pretty rapidly here. We're going to move on to the highway and move down to, actually we're going to move north right into it. Let's go ahead and go to road cam again, John. As the rains are beginning to pick up, there you are. We're looking south on Dixie from that one now, and you're going to be clear here in just a second. Hold up. We're navigating our way back onto Dixie, and we're going to go northbound when we do. But this is active weather moving into place right now, and you're clear all the way out. And there's what we have going on. Visibility is dropping, rain picking up here. No hail yet, but as you've been reporting, as you and Alden have been reporting, the storm's certainly fully capable of producing hail and likely will. We'll pitch it back to you for the moment, but stand by as this thing moves across. We'll probably have more here. Reed Yaden reporting live from Shively.
Thank you, Reed. Yeah, let us know if anything changes there. It looks, you can see that bluish and greenish color to the clouds. That's usually associated with some hail, and it looks like that hail is very, very nearby. Reed, Yaden right now, and this is basically right where Reed is at, and that is a look at some of that potential hail near Shively, crossing over the Ohio River. Looks like a little hail is trying to pulse up as well near Okolona, 265, near at the interchange there at 65. So a strong and dangerous thunderstorm right on top of a severe thunderstorm warning here continues. That go until 7 o'clock, Alden. I know you got some other updates.
Yes, the severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7 p.m. The wind gusts are potentially up to about 70 miles per hour. They also just put out a new severe thunderstorm warning for Bullitt, Jefferson, Nelson, Shelby, Spencer counties in Kentucky. So they're really just expanding that current warning that we have southward a little bit. Here as well. Still seeing some large hail reports. I also believe we have some new power outage reports. Dewey was telling us they'll get those to us here in just a moment. We'll check out what those are because those wind speeds again have been gusting up fairly high. Thankfully, power outages have not been too extreme, but we are seeing 3,300 in Orange County, Crawford County, a little under 2,400, Washington County, Indiana, around 1,500. And meteorologist Christina San Juan was also telling me about 500 power outages here in the metro area. So we're probably going to continue to see that those power outage numbers increase. I want to take a quick look outside here really quickly on Max 1. You can see just how heavy that rain is falling. Some of that is also hail of around quarter-sized in diameter. We've been keeping a close eye on that hail because that's really been the big story for us today. Some locations have seen up to 2-inch diameter hail or hail up to the size of baseballs. We've had ping pong and golf ball sized hail. Looks like we even have a secondary hail core developing near Okolona, south of Butyl, and near Fern Creek at the moment. The Weather Service also reporting some larger hail now falling on their office windows, which is kind of near the Okolona area. But Shively, that's where we have the largest possible hail along I-264 there near Shively. That's around 1 inch to 2 inches in diameter, heading toward Hazelwood, possibly Iroquois Park, and towards Churchill Downs. So this data is a little bit delayed here, but it's headed towards Louisville International Airport as well. So I doubt there are very many flights that are getting in at the moment. But as we put back on our regular radar view, here's that new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Bullitt, extreme northern Nelson County, western Spencer County, and the extreme southern corner of Shelby County. That goes again until 7:15 Eastern time.
Just a massive thunderstorm right over top of Louisville right now. Let's put on the lightning strikes too, Alden. This is moving southeast about 30 miles per hour, getting hundreds of lightning strikes here over the last half hour. So we've got a lot of different hazards. Just want to stay inside. Once this is over with, we'll let you know when it's safe to go about and do whatever you want to do. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning continues over Louisville until 7 p.m. That new severe thunderstorm warning includes Mount Washington, northeastern Boley County, into Spencer County, kind of bumps up very near Taylorsville in the far southwestern corner there of Shelby County. That hail and the worst part of the storm right over Shively. Let's put our velocity back on and check out the wind speeds, the potential wind damage areas here around Shively, down PRP, into Valley Station, basically heading right over the top of Dixie Highway right now with the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds. And of course, I mentioned this before, these raindrops are getting picked up by the radar very close to the ground, so very high likelihood we're getting some of these damaging wind gusts right over the top of Metro Louisville, and it really has expanded out now all the way from Valley Station up to PRP. 84-mile-per-hour pixel there on the radar. So a damaging storm moving through downtown Louisville. Much of Metro Louisville right now, just need to stay safe, need to stay inside. We're going to see some power outages, tree damage, ponding of water on the roads, large hail. Damage from hail is going to be possible to cars, roofs of homes. So a lot of impacts and hazards from this supercell thunderstorm. Let's get back to Reed, who is right in the middle of it there on the southwest side of Louisville. Reed?
Indeed, we are on Dixie Highway just past Dixie Manor, northbound. You can see very heavy rain. So far, no hail. Winds have gusted in excess of 40 miles an hour. And let's go to side cam, John. Give another angle on this thing. Sounds like we're getting maybe yep, there comes the hail. We're getting into some hail now. If you are familiar with Dixie Highway, We are coming up to Dixie and let's see here. We're passing Dixie and Blanton right now. Dixie Highway and Blanton. There's a TARC bus on the side of the road. He has stopped. And very, very heavy rain. The rain is as heavy as we have seen it today. Not significant winds yet, but we are starting to get some hail. I don't know if you can hear it. It's very small hail. I'd say pea-sized, something like that. And it's probably getting a little louder now. The hail's getting a little bigger. So I think what you and Alden have been talking about, the hail core in this storm, is certainly starting to verify here along Dixie Highway as we move north. We're in the PRP, right in the PRP Shively area, and you can see there's standing water in the roadway. Be very, very careful with that. And I'll just be quiet here for a second, see if you can hear some of the hail. It's very fine. I would classify it as pea-sized hail at this point. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, you can see it bouncing off the hood there. Wind still not a major factor here. Ben, I'll let you and Alden have it, but that's our situation out here in Shively, right under the cell at the moment.
Thank you, Reed. Stay safe out there. Yeah, sometimes these winds come in pockets. You could be in between them. And there you can see some of those very strong winds. The radar estimating 93-mile-per-hour wind. Very strong straight line damaging winds here between PRP and Valley Station, very near where Reed is. So sometimes it doesn't make it to the ground. Sometimes it does. 100-mile-per-hour wind estimate here with the radar very close to this storm in Fort Knox. So a serious storm, possibly destructive and dangerous. So stay inside until this passes on through. There are the two areas of possible wind damage, not too far from where we've had some of the hail. Let's get back to our regular reflectivity here and see where the storm is.
We also have updated power outage numbers as well, because they are beginning to grow here in Metro Louisville up to around just under 3,000 at the moment. So most of those are confined to the west end, where they have seen the largest hail, where they have seen the heaviest rain and the highest wind gusts. So about 3,000 power outages in Metro Louisville, with more likely coming as our folks in the control room pan down there just a little bit. We also have updated numbers in Indiana too. Still around 3,300 in Orange County, Harrison County around 1,200 power outages, Washington County just under 1,500, and about 3,500 in Crawford County at the moment.
All right, let's get back to the radar. That storm right on top of Louisville right now. This is a look at some of the strong winds. Again, very near PRP, Valley Station, Dixie Highway, Prairie Village. This is going to be heading toward Iroquois Park, Fairdale, near the Snyder. Possibly heading over the airport as well. Let's get back to the rain and reflectivity here, Alden, and take a look at this very large thunderstorm right over the top of Louisville right now, Fern Creek, and starting to spread into Spencer County near Taylorsville, Mount Washington, so impacting parts of far northern Bullitt County. Looking a lot better in Floyd and Harrison counties. Looks like it's a severe weather threat coming to an end very soon for you guys and much of Clark County in Indiana. But again, the immediate threat right on top of Metro Louisville, Shively, Valley Station, really heavy rainfall. This is likely some hail over the airport in U of L. Downtown, heavy rain. We've heard a little hail outside the station here too. Fern Creek, there's some hail here on the southeastern side near Fisherville. So this thunderstorm covering most of Louisville at this time. Let's put it in motion. We're still talking about 30-mile-per-hour motion here, Alden?
Yes, very slow moving, and for a while there it was almost stationary. They're also watching that outflow boundary that you see, that little thin green line pushing southward through Brandenburg. Those can often initiate new thunderstorms and new cell development as well, so we're going to have to keep a fairly close eye on that one. Christina San Juan pulled up a Trimark camera from I-264 and Dixie Highway. That's on Max 3. You can see some of that very heavy rain out there. You can also frankly make out some of that hail that's falling near Dixie Highway and I-264 too. That's on Max 3. And this is where we had Reed Yaden not too long ago giving us his report of some of that hail that was falling too. You can see it there, camera shaking around on the breeze, and those larger kind of white dots are either very large raindrops or hail. Most likely hail is what we're looking at. Also have been reports of hail falling at the fairgrounds near Churchill Downs as well. So that's only been around a quarter size, which compared to some of the baseballs that were falling earlier in parts of southern Indiana getting quarter-sized hail really isn't that bad, and quarter-sized hail isn't going to cause any damage. But wind gusts are still going to be a large concern for us. I want to pull those wind speeds back up here, because around Valley Station in particular is where we've seen some of those extremely high wind speeds, potentially making it to the surface and potentially in excess of 90 miles per hour up to around 100 miles per hour in a few locations. That's around the same areas that we also have been noticing those power outages falling to. Getting a report of about 1.5 inch sized hail near Dixie and Blanton here in the metro, hail near Valley Station too. So a lot is happening right now with that very heavy wind, very heavy rain too. In addition to hail, I have a storm report here from Floyd County, Indiana, at State Road 64 and Oaks Road of a vehicle stuck in floodwater. So we are beginning to see likely some flooding concerns, Ben, as this heavy, strong thunderstorms just almost parked on top of Metro Louisville, not in any hurry at all to move. It's still slowly trying to push to the southeast.
And watch out for the typical flood-prone areas in Metro Louisville. You kind of know your neighborhood, know your community that typically flood. Good chance that that could happen too. Avoid those flooded areas altogether. You just don't know how deep it actually is, and it only takes about a foot or two to wash away a car, and it's certainly a lot easier to knock you off your feet with that flooding water. And avoid the flooded basements before knowing that the electricity is off with the electricity threat with the flooding as well. A lot of lightning strikes that we have across the area. That storm is covering pretty much all of Louisville right now. It is happening, as Reed said, it is showtime for Louisville. 325 lightning strikes over the last half hour out of this thunderstorm that has kind of congealed into the other thunderstorm that was out ahead of it. So it's a back-to-back punch here for Louisville, and now in the southeastern sections of Jefferson County and moving into Spencer County. Let's broaden our view and our perspective here, because there's not a lot else going on at the moment. Really, we've got a line of some heavy rain that's not severe, but kind of back building, and again, watching out for a flood threat with any of this heavy rain crossing over other areas that have already had some very heavy rainfall. This severe thunderstorm in Carroll County is about to move out of your area pretty soon. This is the outflow boundary that Alden was mentioning. That is the rain-cooled air coming down out of the thunderstorm near Fort Knox. Sometimes that can build up more thunderstorms, and some of the weather model data has been trying to predict more blossoming of thunderstorms over the next couple of hours
I want to
downstream.
take you outside to Scottsburg really quick, where that line is developing. We have a really interesting, fascinating image here, likely of that line starting to push through Scottsburg at the moment. You can see some of those rain shafts there on the right side of your screen, and even here in the metro and up there in Scottsburg. One of those rains where it's raining really heavily, but you can also look outside and see a little bit of sunshine too. So that secondary line, I just wanted to get that look outside, because I saw the thumbnail here. Really interesting cloud feature there. But getting back to radar here so we can talk about some of those southern Indiana lines. Nothing severe with that, but if you are in Caruthersville, you're probably going to see some continued heavy rain, Also just to the east of Mitchell, probably a little bit more small hail there. So we're going to see the secondary line start to push southward, and this is more likely going to be impacting folks that are along the I-71 corridor, kind of north and northeast of Metro Louisville. Oldham County, you haven't really seen too much activity today, which is fine, but you could eventually be impacted by that line now pushing south out of southern Indiana. Ben, we were talking about this earlier, but it's really unique for us to have such strong thunderstorms like this push through an area and then see another strong thunderstorm equally as strong or more so following in its wake, because normally when you have a storm move through like there, it uses up all the fuel, but we have so much that we can even get these later storms to recover and still push southward and cause quite a bit of damage or heavy rain.
And on that note, let's go ahead and check out Futurecast over the next few hours and just see what the weather model data is trying to predict here. So this is the activity that we have now as we approach 7:30, and notice just these clusters continuing as it moves south of Louisville. This is around 9 p.m. So we're going to get more active around the western Kentucky and Bluegrass parkways, and then still some heavy rain, thunderstorms, maybe some hail, isolated tornado can't be ruled out all the way up to around 11 o'clock. It does look like this threat will end after 11 o'clock. That's how long the tornado watch goes. We have a tornado watch for most of the area until 11 p.m. and things will really quiet down and begin to clear out overnight. So we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that covers all of Bullitt County and stretches a little bit now into Nelson County, just to the north of Bardstown. So we're seeing that trend where, you know, southern Indiana is going to quiet down first, and then we're going to focus more on our Kentucky areas. So we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Metro Louisville. Hail just south of the Snyder here, just to the southeast of Fern Creek near Glen Mary. And then heavy torrential rain coming down along the Snyder, over the airport, over the Highlands, around 264 toward Linden, getting in on that very heavy rainfall. Tracking this area of heavy rain to the southeast, you can expect more of it heading your way to the Brownington area at 7:13, Taylorsville Lake at around 7:25 to 7:30, and then toward Bardstown around 7:30 to 7:40. Again, we've got multiple hazards out there over Metro Louisville. Still the potential of some hail. Perhaps doesn't look as bad as it did. Notice the colors are going down here. We're not seeing the purple colors that indicated up to 2-inch size hail. When you see the hail go down, usually the other hazards will follow suit, and hopefully we'll get some lighter winds. But I'm still suspect that we have some isolated damaging wind gusts over parts of Metro Louisville right now. And notice, Alden, the winds don't look nearly as bad as they did earlier.
No, we don't see those blues that we were seeing earlier, which usually means around 60, or really when they're in that deep blue shade around 70, 80 miles per hour, or even a little bit higher than that. But just checking out some of the wind speeds around southern Metro Louisville near Fairdale, maybe around a 50 mile per hour wind speed. That's generally what I'm seeing now. A far cry from that 100, those couple of 100 mile per hour pixels that we were seeing a little bit earlier too. But that new severe thunderstorm warning is for, as you said, all of Bullitt County. That goes until, that is until 7:38 p.m. I also see a new hail report here out of PRP of ping pong ball sized hail. That came at 6:52, so about 10 minutes ago. So still seeing some pretty healthy potential hail here, and we could even be seeing a new area of new hail core pushing up here, pulsing up near Seatonville, right on top of Seatonville at the moment, heading towards Whitfield. So very interesting scenario happening with us today, Ben, as this storm maybe even starting to pivot a little bit more and move more due east.
All right, so still very heavy rainfall. Thank you, Alden, right over the top of Louisville. Now starting to move into Spencer County and Taylorsville. You're getting in on some of that. Mount Washington, still looking at the potential of some hail near Fairdale, Okolona, near the airport. Looking better now over downtown as the heavy rain starting to move to the east of Interstate 65. Also improving conditions down Dixie Highway, Valley Station, PRP, Shively. A lot better over Floyd and Harrison counties as the storm has now moved east of your area. Still dealing with this big thunderstorms, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Again, this was the first thunderstorm. This was the second back-to-back here. It's kind of a 1-2 punch. Heavy rain now moving into Taylorsville near Taylorsville Lake. So far staying south of Shelbyville, but you'll likely get some rain here over the next half hour or so. And then again, improving conditions over the river. So let's go ahead and back out the view once again. It's basically this cluster of storms that is the main issue, watching out for some redevelopment back up to the north, but not causing problems up there around the Muscatatuck River, East Fork of the White River. We'll just kind of wait and see with this outflow boundary. It looks like it has popped up a little cell there near Perry County. And we'll just kind of continue to watch the progression of this big supercell thunderstorm over Louisville, now starting to dip down into Bullitt County. So Taylorsville, stay inside until that moves over your area. We'll see how close it gets to Bardstown. Right now it's tracking just to the north of Bardstown right now, but we've seen these expand farther off to the south. And just a number of cloud ground lightning strikes with these powerful thunderstorms moving through as well. We had some rain earlier this morning, which kind of primed the soil for the potential of some localized flooding that we'll need to watch for. We saw with the video of Reed Yaden out there with the water just splashing everywhere with the ponding of water over the top of Louisville right now. We've got Reed out there now. Let's check back in with him. I know you, Reed, you were just out there by Dixie Highway.
Right, we have left that area, actually getting some sunshine over toward the southwestern part of the city. We're moving south on 65 now, down into Bullitt County, just past the Snyder Freeway. Rains heavy here. They're letting up over on Dixie. They're getting very heavy here. And we're also getting a steady pea-sized hail here at ground level now. A lot of what you observe is higher up. It melts on the way down, but it's manifesting itself. We're estimating pea-sized, maybe occasional marble-sized here as we move along 65 just south of the Snyder, and we're going to continue on into Bullitt County. Be aware with electrical outages, there could be traffic lights out of order as you move along, and also ponding of water in the roadway. Just if you do have to be out, just be aware of those situations. Reed Yaden live on I-65, covering this extreme weather.
Thank you, Reed. Yeah, might want to just avoid travel until this storm passes on through. You can see it expanding over Spencer County, southern Shelby County now as it continues to make its way to the southeast at around 30 miles per hour. Shepherdsville starting to see that heavy rain your direction. You can see that overall trend of it just kind of shifting off to the south, so maybe taking a little more of a south push than directly off to the east. So looking a lot better. Probably seeing the sun coming out now as we look off into our western sky in downtown Louisville and Shively. There is a look at that gust front that we'll just kind of keep an eye on. That's the rain-cooled air from the thunderstorms moving south. And there you can see that arc right there. So that can sometimes push up new thunderstorm development. Here's a look at the wind speeds, which I would say Alden is improved. We're not seeing any of the real damaging wind speeds that we had earlier. And Reed Yaden thankfully hasn't reported much in the way of damaging winds. I do suspect, especially on the west and southwest side of Louisville, PRP, Valley Station, Shively, we'll probably get some more power outage reports here pretty soon. But overall, we're not seeing much rotation, thankfully, not seeing the winds as strong as they were. Let's go ahead and go back to the radar, just looking at some very heavy rains. Looks like some broad rotation here down towards Shelbyville, Mount Washington. You're about to get the heavy rain to return to your area, and it's going to be a while before this all pushes through Taylorsville and just kind of on the edge of it there in Shelbyville. Expanding farther out, still looking at some thunderstorms redeveloping. Can we put the lightning strikes back on here, Alden, and see if, a lot of lightning here with this just a weird elongated thunderstorm from Mitchell all the way to near Salem, Scottsburg, over to Madison. 362 lightning strikes in this view over the last half hour.
Electrically charged as they were earlier, but still, you're right, that is just a very long thunderstorm. Our producer's telling me that we also have some video out of French Lick earlier of some damage up there, I believe he was saying. So this would have come from a couple of hours ago. They'll get that pulled up for us. So some trees down out there. That could have possibly have been tornado or straight line wind damage. They'll get survey teams out there to check that out. Obviously seeing some of that heavy rain and hail falling. That looks like baseball-sized hail up near French Lick. Smaller hail there, but it's been a really unique storm system that we have had here today. So thank you again for sending out those photos to us. And some of that hail can fall heavily enough that it almost looks like sleet or snow cover on the ground. Not something we typically see around here too often. Ping pong ball sized hail there as we're looping through those photos again, but some tree damage on top of a house up near French Lick right now. And as we look back on radar, actually let's take a quick look at some power outages. I was told we have some updated power outage numbers as well across Metro Louisville and some of our southern Indiana counties. We've had several thousand in Indiana. That's where most of them have been. About 6,000 now here in the metro, mostly confined between the Watterson and the Gene Snyder and to the west of I-65. So kind of the southwestern quadrant of Jefferson County is where we have most of these power outages. That's also where we had those highest wind speeds earlier, and it's where we had some of the largest hail reports here in the metro earlier as well. So likely causing some damage in that area. Across southern Indiana, Harrison County, just under 1,000, around 837. Jefferson County, Indiana, about 1,200. Orange County, 1,600. 1,600, Crawford County around 1,200, and Washington County, thankfully, just 19 power outages. I want to go back to radar, Ben, because I am starting to grow a little concerned with that storm in Bullitt County as it's gone through a bit of a cycle here, and we're starting to see maybe some reformation with that and getting some more of that classic hook shape that you would see with a supercell thunderstorm. I'll put on our velocity though, and I don't quite see anything there yet. We're still waiting to get a new velocity scan in. I believe this is the old one we are looking at, but I do want to keep an eye on Bullitt County and that storm possibly recycling and becoming stronger again, showing some potential signs of broad rotation.
Yeah, once you start feeling better about these storms weakening, then they can pulse right back up. Still some hail involved, especially right there on the Bullitt and Spencer County line. So that some of that hail could be heading very close to you around Taylorsville, Mount Washington. Heavy rain, possibility of some hail, gusty winds. Cannot rule out some isolated damaging wind gusts involved with this as well. But as Alden was mentioning, there's just kind of that swirl right there, that hook that sometimes represents the potential of some rotation, possibly an EF0, EF1 type of tornado. Looking a lot better now around PRP, Shively, Fairdale, where the storm is now east of you. So a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that we still have out here as now we passed the 7 o'clock hour and heading deeper into the evening time as the storms are getting closer to move out of Metro Louisville. So looking a lot better in downtown. Let's slide the view up just to the north, Alden. It looks like we can give the clear here for Prospect and within the Waterson. Things are quieting down now around the Highlands and Linden, St. Matthews, Shively, PRP, Valley Station looking a lot better, and Portland and a lot of southern Indiana too. With that said, there still is some redevelopment to the north up around Scottsburg, so we'll keep an eye on that thunderstorm. But so this is the thunderstorm that's still pretty strong, not a warning on it, but heavy rain nonetheless around Madison, Hanover, between Crothersville, Scottsburg, and just off to the north of Salem. And let's put the loop here over the last hour, Alden, and just kind of see the direction that this is heading. It looks like it's just kind of slowly moving off to the east and really kind of back building, which is a concern as far as flash flooding, which we'll need to really watch out for with some of these slow movers. So rain not completely done with around Scottsburg, possibly sagging into Henryville in Clark County, Jefferson County in Indiana, but things are looking a lot better north around North Vernon, Highway 50 spots there, Seymour over to Brownstown and Bedford, and things looking a lot better in Orange County where it was very, very busy earlier today.
Ben, I'm seeing some flooding reports coming in now. These are in Metro Louisville, water across I-264 at mile marker 4 east and westbound. That was a multi-vehicle accident, and coming in just a minute ago, I-264 eastbound near mile marker 6.6, water over the left lanes. Also an accident there being involved. Getting hail reports. These are old hail reports now of hail up to the size of a $50 pushing through Metro Louisville. So we have had some extreme rainfall, and now that has caused some accidents on the roadway. So we really want to reemphasize again, turn around, don't drown. A lot of times flooded roadways can be, that water is a lot deeper than what you think it is. And it takes a lot less water, especially moving water, to wipe you off your feet or to pick up and carry away a moving car. So it's better just to hold tight there or find a different route if you don't know how deep some of that water is. Looking at our rainfall across the metro area near the airport, about 1.5 inches. I'm very curious about that bullseye near Morris Foreman into the west of Roosevelt Elementary School. I would not be surprised if we had some areas that did pick up localized amounts of 3 to 4 inches or possibly even more than that. Of course, this is rainfall since midnight. As we look across the rest of the viewing area, about 1.6 inches in Cordon, E-Town, the big winner today, with over 3.5 inches of rainfall. And officially at the airport, it's only reporting about 0.9 of an inch. I suspect we probably have had more than that. Wouldn't be surprised if some water missed the rain gauge because it was falling sideways, Ben.
Yeah, saturated ground out there, and so we have more thunderstorms north. So as we head through the nighttime, we're going to be concerned a little bit about that flood threat. Need to watch out for some of that high water. No flash flood warnings at this time. Strong thunderstorms, severe with the potential of damaging wind gusts and still some hail here right over the top of Taylorsville, southeastern Jefferson County, and east of I-65 in Bullitt County. Just kind of a slow mover as it slides off to the southeast. So we'll be heading towards the Bluegrass Parkway and possibly very near Bardstown over the next 20 to 30 minutes as this activity moves away from Metro Louisville off to the southeast. So that's the main thing that we're watching at this time. There are a lot of lightning strikes still. It's still a strong thunderstorm. How are the wind speeds here? Just to get a little snapshot, Alden, especially there. I'm at the velocity for that storm. So we've got 23-mile-per-hour wind gusts, nothing extreme here in Louisville, but within the storm, we're very close to the radar. I'm not seeing anything terrible at this time for the most part, but there can be some isolated little microbursts and some strong winds occasionally. So closer to the other radar here, we've got some blue there, so there's still possibly some severe winds here and there. The overall storm not as strong as it was when it was moving from Floyd County and into Louisville. There's a look at a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust, so anywhere from around 50 to 60, very near Mount Washington. Just stay inside until the severe thunderstorm warning is canceled or we tell you that the storm has moved on off. But heads up there, Taylorsville, it looks like some of those strong winds will be heading your direction. You already have that heavy rainfall. There is a very large area under that severe thunderstorm warning, new severe thunderstorm warning now for that elongated storm that's over much of Washington, all of Scott, and the southern half of Jefferson County in Indiana. That crosses over into Trimble County. And then this severe thunderstorm warning has been expanded, it looks like, off to the south here, Alden. So we've got a number of counties now under severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got the new severe thunderstorm warning that covers Nelson and then farther south into Washington County, Kentucky. So we're talking about Bardstown, Bloomfield, and portions of possibly LaRue County too. So here's the track on this storm. Get ready for some heavy rainfall still here around Henryville, Newcastle, Prospect, and Anchorage. This one's pretty slow mover up to the north, so it could be impacting parts of southern Indiana for a little while. Let's go a little bit farther to the south with this huge severe thunderstorm warning that goes into basically all of Nelson County, a little bit into Marion County, just to the northwest of Lebanon, and then covering much of Washington County. So it looks like we're kind of sagging more south with this thunderstorm. The potential of damaging winds and large hail heading towards Cox's Creek, Bardstown, Willisburg, Battle, and Springfield over the next half hour. So be prepared. You got a little time. If you're on that list right there to maybe bring your car in the garage and get ready to head inside and stop the outdoor activities, maybe some grilling. I might have to take a break with that as this strong thunderstorm heads your direction. Things have been a lot quieter out to the west of I-65 so far. This severe thunderstorm is about out of Metro Louisville, still just on the southeast side near the Seatonville area. And as we look off to the north, we've got Salem, Scottsburg, Madison, with a new severe thunderstorm warning there with some very heavy rainfall. Let's take a look at the wind speeds and the hail with this and see if it's looking any worse there near Salem and Scottsburg and over toward Madison. So strong thunderstorm here, lots of lightning strikes and just a little bit of hail, probably some pea or dime size hail in some pockets here around Salem and up to the Muscatatuck River there and through right through the middle of Scott County. Just some little pockets of maybe some very minor rotation, but the winds really don't look too bad with this thunderstorm here so far. Getting some power outages. There's been thousands of power outages over southern Indiana, and last check was about 6,000 out in Louisville as that storm had just moved on through our area here in Louisville, and now we still see that bright area of some strong wind speeds near Mount Washington here in northeastern Bullitt County, and it looks like that could be heading toward the Taylorsville area. Still some broad rotation just to kind of keep an eye on around Mount Washington. I'm sure there's some ugly, ominous looking clouds nearby as well here in northeastern Bullitt County. Very heavy rainfall, possibility of some localized flooding as the hail is right there on the Bullitt and Jefferson County line. That deeper area of red, you typically indicate some hail, maybe some just off to the northwest of Taylorsville. So it's coming down very heavy. It's showtime, as Reed was saying earlier, now for eastern Bullitt and into Spencer counties. The worst of it staying south of Shelbyville, and things are really improving around J-Town and Fern Creek, and probably starting to see some of that sunshine returning in these areas too. So we have a number of severe thunderstorm warnings. This has had a history of producing some large hail and damaging winds and power outages, and heading towards Bloomfield over the next 10 to 15 minutes and other parts of Nelson County. And so just to stay inside while this severe thunderstorm moves through your area. Let's go ahead and look at the broad view once again here and take a look at about an hour loop, and we'll see kind of the direction, the motion of these thunderstorms that have been popping up here over the last hour. So this is an hour loop, and it's just sitting here, and that's going to cause a flooding concern from Madison over to Scottsburg and Salem. This thunderstorm at least has some motion to it moving off to the southeast. Other than that, there have been just a couple of isolated showers off to the west. Thankfully, we do not have any tornado warnings at this time. We still have a tornado watch that continues until 11 p.m. for most of our viewing area, and you can see more information about that at the bottom of your screen. Here's a look at the tornado watch. That covers most of our area, and then in that, the orange indicates the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have. A very large severe thunderstorm warning that is put downstream from Metro Louisville. So several impacts that we've been tracking here, and we thank you for your reports. You can send any of your pictures or reports when it's safe to do so to our Kentucky, Indiana Cloud Watchers page on Facebook. Your photos at WHAS11.com. And what's the number there, Alden?
502-582-7290. I got that one memorized to a T.
There you go. So thanks for helping out and giving us the ground truth of what's happening on the ground after these storms pass on through. Again, when it's safe to do so, 502-582-7290. We've already seen some impressive pictures of very large hail across the area. We're still not out of the woods as far as the tornado threat. If a tornado warning is issued, just remember, stay calm, get to your safe place, away from the doors and the windows, interior room or bathroom, or if you have a basement, take cover underground, get into your basement and stay safe.
Ben, let's take a look outside really quick,
Sure.
because you were talking about sunshine. Let's pull up Max 3, please. And this is I-264, a Poplar Level Road. You can see that storm that as it's pushing out of Metro Louisville and down to the south. You can also see how wet a lot of the roadways have been. I'm looking at our traffic maps and only a couple of incidents. So otherwise, traffic is getting around the city fairly all right at the moment. I don't see any major delays or backups, and any accidents do appear to be off to the shoulder right now. So things are looking much better in that regards. Now, as we go back to Max 1, please, and look at our broad radar image, the two lines that we're watching is the one to our north. That's from Salem over toward Madison. That could be weakening a little bit, and also that very large heavy thunderstorm that's moving southward into central Nelson County at the moment. Here's a radar loop of the last hour, moving slowly here so you can see it a bit better. That activity to our north in southern Indiana is moving more so to the east than it is to the south now, but we see that outflow boundary moving through central Kentucky near Brandenburg, trying to see some new redevelopment. But that storm that moved through Louisville is now a lot smaller than what it was. It's still packing quite a bit of a punch, and you're still getting some very heavy rain in Spencer County, also getting close to Bardstown right now. Also likely seeing some decent sized hail with this. Yeah, still probably seeing hail up to about 2 inches in diameter. So that's around $half size up to hen egg size. So I'd say anywhere from a golf ball up to about a hen egg is a type of hail you can be expecting near Taylorsville Lake and near Taylorsville at the moment too. So very interesting seeing how well these storms have produced hail, Ben, over the last couple of hours, and they've been extraordinarily slow moving, only about 30 to 40 miles per hour. A lot of times this year when we've had severe weather, these storms have been moving at 70, 80 miles per hour. I'm going to take a look up in Scottsburg too, because we have some very heavy rain there, as you just saw on radar. Visibility has been reduced quite a bit, so you're getting some tremendous rainfall in Scottsburg right now. Our heating and air camera maybe losing a little bit of connectivity with our camera, but don't see too much in the way of gusty winds. Camera is holding relatively steady at the moment, which is good, but we've been so saturated with rainfall. Look at some of these rainfall reports since midnight when we had that first round roll through. About over 3.5 inches in Elizabethtown. We have some cores there, possibly 3 to 4 inches where we don't have a rain gauge officially reporting, and even here in the metro, we've had very impressive rainfall amounts, about 1.6 inches near the airport, inch and a half at Leanne Way, Valley Station 1.3, Morris Foreman about an inch and a half, and there's that bullseye there between Morris Foreman and Roosevelt Elementary, kind of near the California and Portland neighborhoods, where 3 to 4 inches was certainly a possibility there, as indicated by radar. Not quite as much rain off in the east end, but the good thing, if we could find a positive with the rain that we had, is that this is what we would call a drought busting rain. We do have moderate drought conditions. Once we see that new drought monitor come out late next week, we're probably going to see a lot of locations be eliminated from the drought, which is very good. But at the moment, we're just looking at these two areas, that one line in southern Indiana and this storm that's approaching Bardstown at the moment. Currently raining very heavily still in Taylorsville. Severe thunderstorm warning for this storm until 7:45, I believe that was. I'll just, yes, until...
Yeah, you can see that.
8 p.m.
You can see that southern motion that it's trying to take here towards Cox's Creek and Bardstown. So moving into and through Nelson County, still getting that really heavy rainfall around Taylorsville. Hopefully, any boaters out there today, it was a great day to be out at the pool or the lake, but hopefully, you had a chance to get off the water before that storm rolled in. Thankfully, everything is improving around Metro Louisville. But the really interesting thing that Alden was mentioning earlier too is that these storms have been able to fire up after a big storm passed on through. There's just so much energy in the atmosphere, and we call that instability, just unstable air, that if these storms grow, they've got a lot of fuel to eat and just become monsters. And that's what we've had, these big supercells moving through the area. Let's put on the lightning strikes here as well. We're getting frequent cloud direct ground lightning strikes. There you can see all the individual ones. Now these are just the lightning strikes that hit the ground. We don't include the lightning strikes that are cloud to cloud and stay up in the sky. But you can see the lightning strikes that we did have in Louisville now off to the southeast. So still coming down very hard over Taylorsville and much of Spencer County, and then starting to sag farther off to the south towards Bardstown. So this could be moving over the Bluegrass Parkway here very shortly, as these storms have generally been moving off to the southeast at around 30 miles per hour. And as we begin to wrap things up, we're going to be monitoring the severe weather situation because there is still a chance of an isolated tornado. If we get any tornadoes, we'll be right back on with you. Let's look through Metro Louisville. Alden, we'll just kind of cruise up to the north slowly. Things are really improving. Nothing severe here, just a little shower there, a little shower off to the northwest of New Albany. This does have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, mainly for the potential of some hail. But generally the winds haven't been too bad. Still a lot of lightning strikes. If you hear the thunder roar, head indoors is the saying. So very heavy rain with a severe thunderstorm warning. Just stay inside until it's over around Madison, Hanover, Scottsburg, and over toward Salem. So once again, we are going to watch things very closely here for you. If we get any more alerts, we'll have them immediately with more information at the bottom of your screen. You can go to WHAS11.com, get our WHAS11 app with the interactive radar, and of course, more alerts right there. Thanks for watching our severe weather coverage, and stay safe out there. We'll have much more coming up on WHAS 11, night team at 11.